Every August, someone special gets added with permanent decoration to the Phillies' exclusive Wall of Fame. Last night, the winningest manager in Phillies history found his place on the wall as we celebrated the greatest era of Phillies baseball. Today, one becomes many as we honor the history of the Phillies on 2014 Alumni Day. On the field, there hasn't been a whole lot of celebrating the last couple of days in this series against the New York Mets, but off the field and all around the ballpark, there's been a lot of celebrating of the history of the Philadelphia Phillies. Today, it's Game 3 of this 4-game series. The Wall of Fame had the newest member last night, Charlie Manuel, all the way to the left, next to Curt Schilling, and today, one after another, walking through Citizens Bank Park, the alums from years past getting a chance to say hello to the Philly faithful and also getting a chance to get patted on the back. They shake some hands and they get to see some old friends here in Philadelphia. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy. Speaking of alums, Jamie Moyer, Mike Schmidt, Sundays with Schmidt. It's great to have these guys here. It's great to have their perspective and the perspective of all the alums that are here this weekend. And, Mike, obviously, when you look at the Wall of Fame celebration, you're up there. You're in the Hall of Fame. Your numbers speak for themselves. But just looking at the line of guys that you were up with last night, that's a pretty impressive timeline for the Phils.
Absolutely. It is. It's a wonderful thing to be a part of. I love the Phillies for the way they handle the alumni, the way they treat us. They roll out the red carpet for the whole weekend. We can do pretty much whatever we want to do as long as we do those little things they want us to do. We play some golf. We party at the hotel. We renew old friendships. Some guys that I haven't seen since the last alumni weekend. It's very special the week. Look forward to it every year. All
right. Well, obviously, your history, your time here in Philadelphia, you had some great players that you were with. The guy to my left, he had some great players as well that he pitched with and played with here in Philadelphia. He won a world championship. Jamie, you grew up here. You grew up going to Phillies games, watching Mike, watching Lefty. I know you've been up here soaking this all in. You're going to be down on the field a little later on. It's got to be pretty neat to see this all unfold.
Yeah, for this being my first time on this side of it, being an alum, it's been a privilege and an honor for me to have grown up in this city, in this area. But even a larger privilege and honor to become a Philly, be a part of this Philadelphia Phillies family, and now taking a step back and being an alum. And really, it was a special night last night to watch and participate in Charlie's ceremony and be able to sit here in the booth and share stories and kind of reminisce about his days here with the Phillies. It's just, it's one of those days and weekends that it's magical for me.
Well, it's magical for Jamie. It's magical for Mike. It's magical for all of us baseball fans who get a chance to see these guys one more time here at Citizens Bank Park. Today, it's Zach Wheeler on the mound for the Mets. Kyle Kendrick will make the start for the Phillies. We'll have a lot more as far as Alumni Weekend goes. Thanks to the folks at Toyota for doing such a great job in their support. We have so much more from Philadelphia when we return, so stay with us. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Toyota, the annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, introducing one deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Budweiser, here's to Budweiser, here's to baseball. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross, live fearless. Orioles and the Mets, game 3 of this 4-game series. And the Phillies is celebrating their alumni this weekend here at the ballpark. And today, a little more than 40 of those alums were introduced to this crowd, getting a chance to say hello to today's Philadelphia Phillies. There's Charlie Manuel sharing a moment with a couple of his former players. Of course, Schmitty shaking some hands as well. It's pretty neat to see the sea of players crisscrossing across the diamond here this afternoon, from Aaron Rowan to Dallas Green to Don Hassenmeyer, who came in a cart and was able to get introduced. Charlie Manuel threw out the first pitch. He threw it out to Chase Utley. So that's the culmination of Charlie's weekend. Mike, you're part of that Wall of Fame. There's a lot of big-time names on that Wall of Fame out there, not only Phillies but also A's.
They sure are, Tommy. As I said in the opening, it's a really fun weekend for us. Obviously, flying commercial these days is not the most fun, but, man, once you get to Philadelphia and once you get around all the guys and you feel the respect in the stadium. And I got to tell you, I was talking to Terry Collins while we're standing in line waiting to be introduced, and I thought it was very special last night the way the Mets handled that whole thing. The entire Mets team was in the dugout, leaning over the rail, clapping for everybody that was introduced. Tremendous amount of respect they showed for us, and it was very classy. I wanted to mention that to Terry Collins. When you think about it, when you think about the guys introduced, I mean, we really have an impressive array of alumni.
I totally agree with that.
A few of them went to other teams, but they always seem to come back to Philadelphia. They want to be back here, and the organization treats all of their alumni so well.
The timeline of baseball history, I think we were commenting about that, Jamie, yesterday on that, on the platform of all you guys, along the long list of guys. I mean, the timeline of baseball and the amount of accomplishments, it was, it's overwhelming when you think about it from a baseball standpoint.
Well, and growing up here in Philadelphia, and I'm not trying to age you.
No problem. But, I'm old, man. Age me.
But the players that I saw, some of the players, I was a real little guy, right? But then I became a teenager and really, understood what the guys like Larry Bowa, Steve Carlton, Mike Schmidt did, Gary Maddox, Greg Luzinski, and I'm sure I'm forgetting guys, but to me, it's really cool to have lived here, grown up here, and then seen it come full circle and then play here.
Yeah. Well, now there's baseball to be played. It's game 3 of this 4-game series. Kyle Kendrick takes the mound for the Phils. Let's take a look at the Mets starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in right field, Curtis Granderson. Daniel Murphy bats second, then David Wright. Lucas Duda's the cleanup batter. Travis d'Arnaud bats 5th. He's catching. Matt Dendecker up from the minor leagues is in left field. He'll bat 6th. In the bottom third of Lagares, Flores, and Zach Wheeler. And they'll face Phillies right-hander Kyle Kendrick. Kendrick 5-11 on the year with an earned run average of 4.74. It seems like every time he's going out there now, he's building to try to finish the season strong, because this has been, well, for Kyle, somewhat of a forgettable year statistically. And he's just trying to finish up the last couple of months on a positive note. 144 into third innings. He's allowed 153 hits. Jamie, his last time out against the Astros, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. It was one of his better outings over the last couple of months. Yeah,
at times Kyle has shown a great ability to get back where Kyle has been, where he's been very, very successful. And then the other times he becomes very mediocre. He loses some aggression, and he falls behind hitters, and he's a guy that has to pitch to contact, use the bottom of the zone, and really rely on his defense.
Take a look at our Budweiser scouting report. He is 8-9 lifetime against the Mets, with an earned run average just a bit over 3 this year in 3 starts. A little different story. 12 earned runs in 17 1/3. I mean, we kind of talked about this. It does seem like the Mets, Mike, this year have the Phillies number, at least here at Citizens Bank Park.
Well, this is a good challenge for Kyle here today. Say what you want about his last outing, and it was impressive, and it heads him in the right direction, but it was against the Astros, who aren't one of the top teams in baseball, don't have a very experienced lineup, and he did well, no question. So hopefully that'll be a start. Today he gets challenged by a team we've had our problems with, the New York Mets.
Just 1 win for the Phillies here in Philadelphia against the Mets this year.
Well, and I will say, you're right, Mike. It was against Houston, but that's the kind of game he needs, regardless of who it's against, to get his feet back underneath him. And hopefully he's taking that momentum that he's created for himself and brings it into today's game, starting right here with the first pitch.
Well, Curtis Granderson will lead it off. Granderson has hit in 4 straight. Overall hitting .229 with 15 home runs. First pitch is on the outside corner, so we're underway.
I might add this. You know what? One thing that would make Kyle really good today is 4 or 5 runs early by the Phillies.
Amen to that. That one's pulled sharply between the legs of Ryan Howard. That'll be the 8th error of the year, I would think, for Howard. We'll see how they score it.
So you scored that an error pretty quick.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have held off.
Let's see what happens. Of course, Jamie, being a pitcher, would say that's definitely got to be caught. As you know, I would think Ryan probably would be able to knock that down and go over and touch first base, and they'll probably score it an error. But that ball was a shot. Now that was a shot.
They have scored it an error. Now, if he, what did you think? Did you just think it was an error?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Here's Daniel Murphy. Murphy hitting .303 with 9 home runs, 50 runs batted in.
The reason is there wasn't going to be a throw involved. It was just going to be a flip to the pitcher covering the bag or running it over himself. And you know, you can put your body in front of that, almost like a catcher blocking a pitch, and you know, keep it in front of you.
This one's not hit that sharply, and Murphy is going to be tagged out. Runner goes to second base. All right, guys, it's time now for our Nissan keys to today's ball game. I know each of you provided a key for today's game.
My key is enjoy the alumni memories.
Well, my key is in tribute to Sarge Matthews, one of your former mates. Get 2 today. Sarge used to always walk around the clubhouse saying, I'm going to get 2. I'm going to get my 2. I'm going to get 2. May sound a little selfish, but you should want 3 or 4, right? But if everybody on the team gets 2 hits today, we'll win this thing.
Well, I think the part about scoring runs early, too, is really important for this club. David Wright hits one back through the middle. Granderson's around third, heading for home. So the Mets look like they're going to score a run. They will. An RBI single. It's 1-0 New York.
But David Wright has not had a David Wright type year up to this point. Statistically, Terry Collins told me he's hurting a little bit, but he's the kind of guy that goes in the lineup every day. He's not going to talk much about it. He plays injured a lot. You know, he is a good hitter, really good hitter, and that just goes to show you right there, if you stay in the middle of the field with men in scoring position, stay out of the air and on the ground, look fastball early in the count, you can make things like that happen.
Yeah, it's his 55th RBI of the season. Here's Lucas Duda. He's been the guy with the big power in the Mets middle of the order. And he takes inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Now, Jamie, back to that David Wright hit. I mean, if you've got confidence in your secondary pitches as a pitcher, I mean, it's one of the things you don't want to do probably is run a fastball right down the middle with a man in scoring position early, right?
To me, yeah, that looked like a cutter. It was out middle away, slightly elevated. You know, this guy, he lives and dies with driving in runs. You did it your whole career.
Well, I'm looking fastball, first pitch, try to stay in the middle of the field. You throw me a fastball, it doesn't have to be right down the middle. It could be on the outside corner, it could be a little high, it could be a little in, but it's a fastball. I'm swinging. And that's where you can throw a slider over the plate or drop a hook in there for strike 1. That's where good pitching comes into play.
Well, that is the 27th run allowed by Kyle Kendrick in the first inning of ball games this year. Duda bunts up the third base line. It goes foul.
Now, does that bring up another topic of conversation? The 4-hole hitter, right?
Sure.
Man on first base. We're in a shift, right? We have Cody Ashley playing at shortstop. We have nobody from the shortstop side of the field around to the third baseline. Your cleanup hitter, who last night won the game with a base hit, last time in town hit a couple of home runs to win games, tries to drop a bunt.
And if it was fair, he would have been safe and Wright would have been at second. But he is your cleanup guy. Now, he did walk back with his head down.
Look, I love the whole idea of beating the shift and getting on base by the bunt, but I don't like my left-handed hitting cleanup hitter dropping a bunt.
Dominic Brown makes the catch, 2 outs. You know, Jim Thome used to talk about that all the time, and Ryan talks about that, Howard. Both those guys were cleanup hitters. Thome said when people would ask him, why don't you lay down a bunt up the third base line, he said, well, that's not what I'm here to do. Specifically in certain situations, it's not what I'm here to do.
Well, as the broadcast today goes on, I would love to discuss, and I think our viewers would like to hear, the trend of shifting defensively in baseball and how it's become pretty normal nowadays. In fact, we saw the Astros do drastic shifts on everybody, and how it's actually going to hurt hitters' batting averages and production offensively until hitters learn to combat it in some way. I mean, is it the bunt? Is it trying to hit the ball, beat the shift? But at the same time, the other team wants you to try that if you're a certain hitter in the lineup. So I think it's an interesting thing going on in baseball.
Here's Travis d'Arnaud. d'Arnaud hitting .222, 8 home runs, 28 runs batted in.
And by the way, Jamie's input on that is important because the pitcher needs to know where the defense is playing, and you got to pitch to that shift, right?
I would say back in your day and part of my day, yes. In today's game, I would bet most pitchers don't know where their defense is shifting.
That's interesting.
That's a guess, but I would bet they don't. Because I know when I first came to the big leagues, well, not necessarily when I was a rookie, but early in my career, my coaches and or teammates would say, hey, if you want me to play somewhere for a particular hitter or in a situation, please let me know.
So are you saying that if you were pitching, they would have charts as to how each of the hitters you're facing that day hit you?
Yes, they hit spray charts.
Right. So it's not their total chart. It's just generally their Jamie Moyer chart.
Right.
And if you know this guy shows this is where he hit the ball most of the time.
When I faced you, they would bring the shortstop and they'd move him over in the 5-hole.
No question. The second baseman.
You were a pull hitter. The second baseman would play up the middle.
That killed me. If you took the middle of the field away, it was hard for me to hit the ball straight to second base, but easy for me to hit the ball back at you. You know, not easy, but I mean, that was my opposite field basically. With you was up the middle, which is strategically smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken how many years? 100 years for baseball to change.
And now it's all of a sudden taking baseball by storm. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Travis d'Arnaud with 2 outs here in the first. A run in on an RBI by David Wright. That is an unearned run. Wright not being held on. He'll take off. The pitch is high. Ball 4. So he was going with a count 3-2. First walk for Kendrick. During the 2014 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream. Sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs.
Well, while we're talking about this, the thing that I think about is we keep so many stats on the shift and we play all these shifts. I wonder if anybody keeps any information on when they do play the shift, how many times players beat the shift or the shift doesn't work.
Hardly at all.
but I mean, you know, and I said this the other night on the air. When you have a shift, you're defensing a quality pitch. When a hitter or a pitcher makes a mistake and they beat the shift or hit the ball through the shift or maybe into the hole, now all of a sudden you can't defense the mistake. So what they're doing, they're shifting based on the pitcher making his pitches.
True. A good example might have been Ryan Howard's game-winning hit the other night, where he kind of one-handed hooked a ground ball that if there were no shift probably would have been caught by the second baseman. But there was a shift that allowed just enough space for that ball to get up the middle because you had the guy in right field, you had the shortstop around, you know, but he didn't necessarily beat the shift. He did what you want him to do. He did hit the rollover ground ball.
2 balls and no strikes to Matt Dendecker. Now it's 3-0, just up from AAA. Dendecker was leading the Pacific Coast League in hitting.
See, and for me, this is where Kyle has gotten himself into trouble this year. His sinker is really not sinking, it's running. It's now become a runner. So it's going a little more east and west. It doesn't have that top to bottom. And that's where he pitches away from contact. It's like he has trouble controlling that pitch.
Popped him up. Out of play, and it's 3-1. Murph, you have some numbers on the shifts?
You know, guys, I was just sitting there listening to the conversation, and it's really interesting when you look at some of the numbers. You go back to 2011, and there were less than 3,000 defensive shifts in baseball. If you go this year, 2013, how about over 12,000 shifts? It's an increase of, the percentage is ridiculous just over the last 3 years of how many teams are using the shift, and almost, obviously game to game, but almost every other batter.
Well, pretty traditional setup there for Dendecker, and he grounds one to Ryan Howard. This side is retired. That is an amazing increase, and I'm sure 2014 is even more than 12,000 shifts in baseball. Middle of the first, Mets 1, Phillies nothing. Pretty good amount of people wandering around, getting themselves something to eat before the bottom of the first inning here at the ballpark. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup for today. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in center field, Ben Revere. Jimmy Rollins bats second. Chase Utley's over at second base. He'll bat third. Ryan Howard will hit cleanup. Then Grady Sizemore gives Marlon Byrd a day off today. Dominic Brown's in left field batting sixth. Will Nieves does the catching. He'll hit seventh. Cody Ashley will bat eighth, and batting ninth and pitching is Kendrick. And they'll take on a kid who's really become a hot pitcher. Zach Wheeler is 7-8. His earned run average is 3.48. He's averaging nearly a strikeout per inning pitched. And last 7 games, 4-0 with an ERA of 1.59. He's kind of figured some stuff out here in 2014.
Well, he's got an explosive fastball. He pitches about 94, 95 miles an hour on average. Very good curveball, slider, and a changeup. He doesn't throw his changeup a great deal, but he really relies on that fastball, slider, curveball combination.
Well, we just saw him up at Citi Field.
I think we saw him last time I was here.
Oh, that's right.
Sunday. Well, I think Wheeler pitched the game due to hit the extra inning home run.
Well, and that was the game where you commented that he had better stuff that day than Beckett did when Beckett threw his no-hitter.
Okay. You're right.
He did have good stuff that day. Ben Revere leads it off. Revere 0 for his last 7. 1 ball and 1 strike. David Wright in on the grass at third. Breaking ball, and it's 2-1. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Mark DeMedio of Haddonfield, New Jersey. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Then Mark will win $100. I usually ask Jamie if he knows any of the people from Philadelphia area in the McDonald's home run jackpot, if he grew up with them. As David Wright makes a diving play. Ben Revere's retired. Murph, have you figured out if you know Mark DeMedio or not from Haddonfield, New Jersey? One out. Jimmy Rollins is the batter. Murph?
What I was saying was he sounds awful familiar. I think I may know him. But, I'd have to check. Hey, how about if I give you some numbers on the Mets and Phillies series so far this year, Tom? Because we talked a little bit about it last night. The Mets have certainly had the Phillies number in 14 games, 10 wins for the New York Mets in those 14 games. And all you have to do is look at the traditional stats to see why. They've pretty much dominated in every category. You look at the runs, it's just off the charts. 71 runs scored for the Mets, 43 for the Phils, batting average about 30 points higher. The only place the Phils have the edge is in home runs. They've had 13 to the Mets 10, but pitching also in favor of the Mets. So when you're dominating in all of those stats, you're going to win a lot of ball games, and the Mets certainly have done that against the Phils this year.
71 to 43, they've been outscored.
And that doesn't include the first inning run today. So,
wow. Well, 2-0 to Jimmy Rollins. Rollins hitting .241. And he slices that one toward left center. Lagares is there. Yeah, there are 2 outs. Well, I know both of you guys have, played seasons where a certain team in your division has your number. You've had their number too.
Didn't the Dodgers beat us 11 out of 12 in 1983?
That is correct.
To the World Series that
we beat one time. Yep.
Yeah, and we beat them handily in the NLCS that year after not being able to beat them at all during the season.
Well, Jamie, when you were here in 07, Phillies had the Mets number. Just one victory after another, and basically is part of the reason why the Phillies won the division. As Utley takes a strike, it's 0-1.
You're right, Tom. And when you're the team that has the upper hand, you come to the ballpark that day having a real good feeling about not only about yourself but about your team and the chances of winning that day. I think it gives you a little bounce in your step.
Is that karma?
Well, most definitely it's karma.
I'm a big believer in it, I'll tell you that.
Utley hitting .283 with 10 home runs, 59 runs batted in. So far against the Mets this year, he has 7 extra base hits, 8 RBIs. 1 ball and 1 strike. And he fouls that one off the mask of d'Arnaud.
Well, and the opposite of that, early in my career, and I didn't really see this till I got to the big leagues because there were established big league players who had great histories behind them. But when Nolan Ryan played for the Houston Astros, and you looked up to, oh boy, Nolan's pitching this series. Teammates were going, all right, we got to win the other 2 games because the chances of winning that game, whatever game he pitched, were slim to none. So he had that edge already, and there were guys in the lineup that knew that they were not going to be playing when Nolan Ryan pitched.
Oh, sleepless nights. I don't think they do it nowadays, but back then, Jamie brings up Nolan Ryan. We used to look like 10 days in advance when Ryan pitched. Okay, Ryan, Ryan, oh my God, he's going to pitch Saturday.
That one's hit well, deep to right center field. Granderson going back. It is gone. Sweet short swing, and the Phillies have tied it up at 1 here in the bottom of the first.
Nobody hits it better than Chase when he does that, what I call a knockdown swing, Tommy, it's like when you want to hit that knockdown 5-iron, boom, hit that knockdown, get that low finish. See how it says both hands on the bat? Boom, both hands on the bat, has a kind of a low finish with the both hands over a little less than shoulder high. That's a sweet stroke.
Home run number 11 for Chase Utley. It makes a winner out of Mark DeMedio of Haddonfield. He's just won $100 in the McDonald's home run jackpot. Howard takes a strike. Well, it's a good sign that they were able to pull even here in the first. Phillies have gone 35 games this year where they have been scoreless in the first 5 innings. Carl Graber did a little research with our friends from Elias. That's second in the majors behind San Diego, who has gone scoreless the first 5 innings 37 times this year. There's a ground ball into the shift due to cover, or due to handles it. Wheeler covers.
Maybe Carl
retired.
Maybe Carl can dig up our record in those 35 games.
That's a good point. We've got to look at that. We're tied at 1 here in Philly. Ten days ahead, the Phillies and the Mariners will face off. It doesn't look like Felix Hernandez will pitch for Seattle. It's a 3-game series. It wraps up on Wednesday the 20th at 1:05. That's a Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. We're tied at 1. We go to the second. Juan Lagares takes upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes.
You mentioned Felix Hernandez. That's one of the keys to having a good year. Missing the ace. A lot of teams as the year going, geez, we missed him again.
Well, yeah, it's like the Angels and the A's. They probably look at their schedule against Seattle and do that. Hernandez, boop, 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 boop. Hernandez, boop.
Well, I'm not sure that today's player really cares who's on the mound, to tell you the truth.
Outside, 3-0.
Get that ball out of here. Do you see that, Jim? You know, back in the day, what they'd be yelling from the dugout, bring your own balls.
They would have hated me.
Yeah, somebody would have cut off that path of you throwing those balls out and put them in another basket and said, we got to use them eventually.
Well, I really wish they'd say, go ahead and rub up the balls for yourself. Because that's really why I was throwing them out. I couldn't feel any seams on the ball.
3 balls, 1 strike.
So did you find that different parts rubbed them up differently?
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine.
And in Boston, I thought they were one of the worst.
Yeah.
The balls felt like they still had the sheen on them. When the brand new baseball has that kind of slickness to it. You could see they were rubbed up, but that sheen wasn't off the ball.
There's ball 4. Lagares with leadoff walk. Well, I think like anything else, it's different styles for the different folks that rub up the baseballs.
Now they're supposed to, from what I understand, they're all supposed to use the same type of mud. But I think it's the person that's rubbing them up. It's the effort that they put in. Now, I will say here, Danny does a great job with rubbing up the baseballs. In Seattle, they did a great job with rubbing up the baseballs. But if I didn't like it, I usually had a little conversation, friendly conversation. I never really get angry with them. Just.
I'll tell you, if I was a pitcher, as finicky as I was as a hitter, if I knew the guy that was rubbing up the baseballs, I'd go right to that dude and say, this is exactly how I want it.
Mm-hmm.
And give him a sample ball.
Mm-hmm. Well, I ran into a little bit of an issue in Seattle because Edgar said when they were rubbed up and when they were dark, he couldn't see the seams.
That's what I was wondering. 1 ball and 1 strike to Flores.
We had to kind of find a happy
And to
medium.
make like Edgar wanted. I'll tell you a quick story. And the other night, Roy Halladay had a friend in town named Skeet Reese. He's here for the Bassmasters.
Oh, yeah.
Thing.
Down at Penn's Landing.
Yeah, I had dinner with him, and we chatted for a long time while Roy was up here with you. And he explained to me that he found out that they used some mud from the Delaware River to rub the balls up here. Now, I thought it was called Mississippi mud.
I made that mistake earlier in the year and was corrected very quickly.
1 ball, 1 strike to Flores. And he fights it off foul. It's 1-2.
So there isn't one mud that's used. It's just we are to think that it's.
I believe there's a spot along the Delaware, and somebody knows where that spot is, but that's the spot where they go and package the mud. I used to have to order it when I was in the minor leagues, and I can't remember where the company was that I ordered it from. But it's a specific place. We'll get an email. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Flores, runner at first. In the dirt, good play by Nieves.
Amazing the inside we come up with, isn't it?
Well, when you have time, which we do, we have a lot of time as players. You can think about things, you can create things if you really want to.
That's one thing we had was time. Traveling for 7 months, and there's a lot of idle time to do things. That's why you see all the different hairstyles and beards, and I think I'll change my look. I got nothing but time.
Over through the hole, base hit into left field for Flores. So the first 2 batters on here in the second. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
Interesting predicament we're in here right now with the pitcher up in the mandatory bunting situation. I've listened to Jamie many times over the last 2 or 3 weeks commenting on pitchers' lack of ability to catch the ball with the bat and deaden it a little bit and put the ball in play.
Or even pitch selection, getting ahead of the pitcher if he fouls it off, and then forcing him to bunt at something he's not comfortable bunting at.
Well, that shouldn't work, and it did. But point on that play we just watched, would not that be a perfect time for the rotation play? Mandatory bunt by the pitcher. You work on it in spring training. Pitcher throws a strike. Third baseman charges. Boom. Rollins covers third.
That ball was bunted pretty hard.
It's exactly what you want.
Take a look from above. Ashley's hanging at the third base bag. He'll go back to cover. Rollins is at second.
Now, there are more mandatory times. I mean, later in a game where he has to bunt. I guess early in the game, he could maybe swing the bat if he sees you charging.
Well, now the Mets have 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out. Nieves has been pretty busy back behind home plate.
And knowing 2 left-handed hitters are coming up behind the pitcher, you have a base open, but then you're facing one of the hotter hitters in the National League, and David Murphy on deck. Oh, and then, by the way, you got David Wright in the hole.
All the more reason it was a mandatory bunt.
Yeah, and Wheeler is not the best hitting pitcher, so you figured he was destined to do that.
This is a predicament for us here, Jamie. I mean, how do you feel? Wouldn't you rather start a new count with the bases loaded, or?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm giving him a whole lot to hit right here.
Exactly. No matter who he is.
Started him off with 2 changeups. You fall behind in the count 2-0, and you're not going to groove a fastball right here. If you were going to do that, you would have done it the first pitch. And maybe that was his thinking to start with. I know we're not going to intentionally walk him, but let's see if we can get him to chase. If we can't, we're just going to continue to nibble. We'll walk him and see what happens with the bases loaded.
Inside low.
Yeah, that could have been called a strike.
Yep.
I mean, that was a good pitch, but it was, like Jamie says, one of those pitches where it's going to be my best pitch, or we're going to 3-0. And right now, I mean, I don't know why you would want to come back and try to get him out if you didn't in the first 3 pitches.
Well, that was the 4-3 ball count. Yeah, I wondered if they could have just walked him intentionally anyway after the first couple. But maybe because he's a free swinger that they thought they could still maybe get him to swing at some pitches out of the strike zone.
Well, it's a funny thing, and Jamie can comment on this. I mean, Murphy's probably the best hitter on their team, and I think he's one of the best hitters in the league, especially right-hander on the left-handed hitter in this situation. Contact guy, use the whole field. Why would you not want to get Granderson out with Murphy on deck? And then this is all the predicaments you get into in baseball when you're not pitching well, right?
And Granderson's a guy that has the ability to strike out a lot. Right. But if you want to strike him out, you got to get ahead of him.
Right. Thank you. Get him to chase something.
Yep. And you're probably not going to strike him out starting him off 2-0 when you're pretty much a 3-pitch pitcher.
Well, here is Daniel Murphy with the bases loaded. Murphy with 50 RBIs this year. He grounded out to Howard his first time up. See his numbers with the runners in scoring position. The bases loaded. And he fights that one off his foot. It's 0-1. They are in double play depth, the Phillies are.
I think he's done us a favor right there, Jamie. I think he swung at ball 1 and swung at ball 2.
But you know, as a hitter too, especially when you have confidence, you're up there letting it rip. Again, you're facing the top of the order. You got ducks on the pond. You're trying to get them in. You know, this is your livelihood right here.
You don't need a fastball right down the middle. You know what I mean?
Well, and he proved that right there. You got a cutter down and in, and then a backup cutter that was up in the zone. Now here's where Kyle needs to be, you know, I don't want to say intelligent. He needs to be smart about what he's going to do. You know, he needs to stay aggressive, but he doesn't necessarily have to stay in the strike zone. But he's got to present something that looks like a strike out of his hand.
Fly ball, shallow center field. Revere is under it. Tagging from third is Lagares. He's coming home. Revere's throw to the plate is cut off by Howard. They've got the runner at third. And the side is retired, but the Mets do take the lead. It's a sacrifice fly by Daniel Murphy. It scores Lagares. Howard was able to cut it off, and now the base runner Flores at third, and we'll go to the bottom of the second. For David Buchanan and Jonathan Neese as the Phils and the Mets wrap up the final game of this 4-game series. Phillies pregame live coming at you at 12:30. Bottom of the second, 2-1 Mets. Wilmer Flores, the shortstop, just helped the Phillies out to finish up the top of the second inning. He was a dead duck going to third. The run had scored. And I guess he thought the ball was not going to be cut off by Ryan Howard. I think that's not knowing the outfielder in that case. I mean, that was a perfect feed to Ryan Howard. And Howard saw it.
Well, and that's an important thing about hitting the cutoff man. If he doesn't hit the cutoff man there, Flores makes it to third standing up.
Old baseball axiom: never make the first or the third out at third base. We kept David Wright from hitting with 2 men on base after singling his first time up, so we canceled that giant offensive day his teammate did by running into that out at third base.
I also noticed Murphy just glaring at him as he was walking back to the dugout. Sizemore hits it sharply, but right at Murphy, who takes a step to his right. One away. Dominic Brown's coming up. Let's check in with Murph. Murph.
All right, thanks to Maxwell. Just a transaction that the Phils have just released. They have claimed Jerome Williams off of waivers. He's both a starter and a reliever and spent 9 years in the big leagues. He was 2-5 with Houston and Texas this year. As I said, kind of mixing his time between starting pitching and relieving. An ERA of 6.71. And to make room for him, they have designated Sean O'Sullivan for assignment. So we were under the impression that O'Sullivan would pitch on Tuesday. At this point, we don't know who will start for the Phils on Tuesday. Could be Williams, also could be a mixture of the bullpen guys, so we'll let you know as soon as we know that. All
right, Murph, we appreciate that. Williams did put together one really good year for the LA Angels. Also was pretty good, I believe, for the Giants too.
Don't you have a pretty tough trip coming up? Playing a Monday big game, and you leave immediately for the West Coast.
For the Angels for 2.
Wow.
And then San Francisco for 3. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2. You missed that travel, Mike?
Nope. Jamie loves it.
Not really.
There's the 1-2 pitch to Brown. Swing and a miss. He's down on strikes. First strikeout for Zach Wheeler.
97. Where did that come from?
I think we talked about this when we were in New York as you watch this pitch from Wheeler.
This young man has a very live arm.
We were talking to Keith Hernandez earlier this morning, who was really touting how well Zach Wheeler has been throwing and the ability to elevate his fastball. And we just saw that right there with that last pitch to Dominic Brown. I mean, he's been sitting anywhere from 90 to 94, and then all of a sudden pops a 97.
Now you mean elevate, you mean velocity. Elevate the velocity. Yeah. He was one of those deadline trades that looks like it's going to work out for the Mets. Former #1 pick of the San Francisco Giants in 2009. Giants picked up Carlos Beltran for him.
That's some good scouting by the Mets.
Wow. 1 ball, 1 strike to Nieves. Swing and a miss. 1 and 2. Nieves hitting .264, a home run and 5 runs batted in. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts, a breaking ball from Wheeler. And the Phillies go down in order here in the second. We completed our first 2 innings. We'll go to the third. It's the Mets. PhilliesFans.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, the question is, who is the only Phillies rookie to play all 162 games? Only Phillies rookie to play 162 games in his rookie season. The answer will be revealed in just a little bit. David Wright will lead it off. David Wright singled home run his first time up, and he whacks that one toward right center field. Revere on the run. He's not going to get there. David Wright is 2 for 2.
Thanks to Mr. Flores for running into that third out at third base. David Wright had to lead off the inning.
And he's a threat to run, even though he's only stolen 6 bases this year. That'll bring Lucas Duda to the plate. Duda flied to left his first time up. Three infielders on the right side. Fly ball to left field. Dominic Brown comes in. All right, he makes the catch. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball.
A lot of first ball swinging here. 2 pitches, 2 contact hits to the outfield. One, of course, right base hit. But we were just talking during the break. Matt Harvey comes back. Wheeler. This guy's got a pretty nice looking starting rotation next year. You know, the Mets get a Carlos Delgado kind of player, 100 RBI guy in a cleanup spot. Give the Nationals and the Braves a run for the money in this division.
Yeah, it's like 06 when they got Delgado. That kind of changed the complexion of their team because he was a 100 RBI guy that complemented a guy like David Wright, and they had Beltran too, and Reyes leading things off.
Well, Duda's starting to surface as a strong left-handed hitter in the middle of the batting order, and liked his d'Arnaud a lot as a catcher.
2 balls and no strikes. d'Arnaud walked his first time up. That one's off the hands, out toward left field. Dominic Brown coming on, plays it on one hop. David Wright will stop at second base. That'll put runners on first and second with 1 man down. It really looked like he was going to be able to run right through that and make the catch.
Sound like a little disapproval from the audience.
I would think so. Yeah, he should have caught that ball. I don't know what he saw, what he was thinking when he came up. Something caused him to pull up.
I'm just not making excuses because yes, here it looked like the ball should have been caught, and in a small ballpark like this, one thing it does give the advantage to the defense is that it's hard to drop balls between the shortstop and the second baseman and the outfielders because it's so small. They're playing so close, but you never know what the outfielder reads off the bat. You know, sometimes there's a big swing and a broken bat. Sometimes the ball gets caught in the shirts of the people in the stands on a tough day game like today. I mean, you don't read it right away. You dive for it and you miss it and it goes back to the wall and a couple runs score. At least he keeps the double play in order here.
Just off the outside corner, it's 2-0. Dendecker grounded out to Howard his first time up. That ended the first inning.
I don't think Jamie would have the same opinion as I would on.
Well, I think your point about you don't know what he saw, as that one is hit well out to center field. Revere on the run, back toward the track, runs it down. What a play, and neither runner tagged up. That was a very nice defensive play by Dominic Brown. By Ben Revere, excuse me.
Well, we had Dominic Brown on our mind
I
there
guess
for a
so.
while.
Here is our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
There's no question. This is just straight up great defense right here. I don't think anybody did anything wrong. I don't think well, I guess maybe you might expect David Wright to kind of hang off the bag, and if it's caught, he could tag and go to third.
But that's just.
But he may not score if
Ben
Ben misses the ball if he hangs close to the bag.
I think off the bat, both base runners thought that ball was going to be over his head.
I think we all thought that.
I did. I thought it was going to go over his head. He had a very good jump, and he was able to cruise under it. So here's Lagares, who walked and scored his first time up. He hits one out toward right field. Sizemore going back toward the wall. It's over his head. It's off the top of the wall. One run is in. Duda's being waved home. Or Darno, I should say, is being waved home, and he'll score. It's a 2-run triple for Juan Lagares. And it's a 4-1 ball game.
Wow. We had a chance to get out of this thing.
Now there's a first pitch fastball right there, and Lagares is all over it and drove it the other way. And we've heard people from the Mets talking about how high they are on Lagares and the player that he's turning into, especially defensively. And they really believe that offensively he's going to blossom into that guy too.
And he was just inches away from an opposite field 3-run home run. That ball hit the top of the fence. Well, here's Wilmer Flores. He singled his first time up. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, Jamie, it just looks to me like it's kind of like running these at-bats together. You know, there's not a lot of thinking between pitches, and you know, maybe stepping off the mound and, you know, looking out at Ben Revere and saying great play or something like that, kind of regrouping and realizing they're swinging a lot of first balls.
Right.
You know, they're doing a lot of first ball swinging here. And all of a sudden, boom, there's another double off the wall on the first pitch.
The sinkers are elevated slightly. They're running, not sinking. So, you know, the quality of the pitch isn't there. Now, there's a very good curveball for Kyle, but it's kind of after the fact.
The Mets scored 2 runs on a 2-run triple by Juan Lagares. Middle of the third here in Philadelphia. It's 4-1. Mets on top.
One, Zach Wheeler doing a nice job against the Phil's offense, and he is the subject of our Geico quote today, guys, from Terry Collins. He says, you see it in every phase now. He's not just throwing. He knows what he wants to do, but he's the way he's done it is a whole different competitor out on the mound now. and all of a sudden he's a different animal out there as well. That's from Terry Collins. And you take a look at his first half numbers and his second half numbers, they seem to support that. Just 5-8 in the first part of the season, an ERA of 3.90, but in the second half, 2-0 with an ERA of 1.73, and he's showing some of that today, guys.
He is, and we've seen it a couple times in his matchups against the Phils. Well, he'll face Cody Ashley, Kyle Kendrick, and then Ben Revere, 8-9-1 for the Mets, or for the Phillies, excuse me, here in the bottom of the third. Ashley hitting .247. He takes a pitch for a strike. It's 0-1. 7 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Ball, 1 strike to Ashe.
Had quite a defensive game last night. I watched the highlights. A couple of fantastic plays at third base.
I thought the one he made on the backhand in foul territory down the third base line, I thought was probably the best play he's made this year. And then the one-hop throw over the first. I mean, Howard was able to handle it. Inside, 3-1.
Jamie, those fastballs in off the plate like that can make that changeup, that off-speed pitch awake pretty tough.
Well, there's 97 on the outside part of the plate there, too.
Well, he just threw a 97 in, and then he just threw a 97 down and away.
You know, for our viewers out there, you know, there's a lot of and when I'm watching, you know, I hear you guys talk a lot. All announcers talk a lot about the gun and speed of pitches, and you know, that must have been a curveball because it was 78 or 90. You know, it's a big thing now what the pitch speeds. But for the viewers out there that want to know how that affects the hitter, you're talking about a split second less time to decide whether or not to swing, you know, and you're talking about a special swing to hit a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. You can't necessarily just look for the ball and react to it and square up a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. You can a 90-mile-an-hour fastball or an 80, you know, something in the high 80s, but you can't square up a 97-mile-an-hour fastball without looking for it. You got to look for that in order to hit it, and you can hit it if you're looking for it. But what it does is make you look for it.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for that darn thing, you can't hit anything else.
Kendrick takes outside. It's 1-2. See, that's to me, that's interesting. Listening to you describe the difference of 6 or 7 miles an hour and how 88, 90.
Well, figure it to be, Jamie might know better than I, maybe 8 inches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It could be a foot. You know, I don't know, the 90, 100, between 100 and a 90's got to be a foot, doesn't it?
And it's the amount of time that you have. It's not like, you know, I mean, when you watch it on TV, you see the motion, you see the release, and you see the ball. But when you're standing up there, that time really gets short.
Go over to your local batting cage and put in, I think I said this in one other broadcast, put in, what is it now? It used to be a quarter when I was a kid. It's got to be more than $1 and get you 10 pitches and move up real close to it.
And fire it up as high as you can.
That's what I used to do in the cage to practice my bunting. I'd start back at the plate, and as I felt like I was getting comfortable, I'd start taking a step forward, step forward, step forward. So I'd get about halfway up the cage, and then all of a sudden that ball's a little more elevated. So now you're thinking, okay, when that pitcher tries to elevate the ball on me, how am I going to get on top of it?
Or try how are you going to take it? How are you going to pull your bat back?
Exactly.
Revere takes a strike. It's 0-1. No one dropped in at 89. Well, Kenny Giles and Jake Diekman, they know what that's like, being out on the mound and being able to just try to zip it by a hitter.
Well, and Mike, you talk about, oh, yeah, you have to have a swing for that. Well, what do you have to do to make that adjustment from 90 to 97 in a swing?
Well, hitting a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, you know, it takes, we could write a book on this, but it's sort of two different. Like I say, I can look for a breaking ball or a breaking ball. I can sit on a slider. The guy's got a real good slider and still hit his 89 to 92 mile an hour fastball. I can still hit it. I can look for something off speed and still react to hit his fastball. But I can't if it's 97.
Wow.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. What adjustment do you make to get to that 97?
Okay, the only way, and that's why you see those kind of pitches strike out hitters all the time, especially if they're elevated, is because there's a natural loop in a batter's swing, generally, a natural tendency.
Under the glove of right, Revere's aboard with 2 outs.
By the way, we got to talk about Ben Revere and how well he's played as a leadoff hitter in the last couple of weeks.
Been great.
But it takes a swing that's almost like a chop swing or a tomahawk swing. You know, it's almost like you almost have to turn the bat over and feel it, try to get on top of it. You got to be real short and quick. There is no possible way you can hit a 97 mile an hour fastball with a little bit of an uppercut. You just can't do it.
Because by the time you're in the beginning of that uppercut, the ball's by you.
Exactly. So just fans out there, just kind of watch our hitters as you're watching the game, and you'll see the batters that have the slight loop with no top hand in their swing that have trouble with that 97 mile an hour fastball. And whereas an Utley, who turns it over with his top hand with a short swing, can hit it. Now back to Ben Revere.
Well, he reaches on the air, and as you were saying, the sort of tomahawk swing, the chop swing, that's looked like what he was doing against Wheeler on that ball that went by David Wright.
And a good hitter will know that and have that in reserve for games like today, where this guy could throw at 97. I got to have something to offset that. I just can't stand here, and I just can't stand in the batter's box and wail away at it like I do for a guy whose top fastball's 90. This is like a Nolan Ryan game for me. I mean, you got to bring something special to the dish. Hey, by the way, you got to bring something special for the Jamie Moyer game too. You know, it's at the opposite ends of the spectrum. No, but I'm just saying it's not the average game. You got to have a heck of a lot of discipline to hit Jamie Moyer as you do to hit Zach Wheeler.
Well, today's game, this style of pitching is totally different than what we've seen the first 2 days with the Mets, with Bartolo and Dylan G. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Rollins. Mets on top 4-1.
Yeah, Ben Revere is, by the way, in the first inning, hit a shot just to the left of right as well, which was caught. But he has, up to 309, 308 now, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of it's kind of been quiet as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I kind of watch Ben is in the top 10 in hitting, is he not?
He's in the top 10, and for a couple of days, he was the top hitter in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. Or second, actually, to Denard Span, but they were both in the same neighborhood. It's kind of resurrected his season individually. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rollins. Runner goes, pitches whacked foul into the Phillies dugout. All of this, Mike, playing, as Jamie and I have talked about, Matt's talked about, playing with a sort of a Mickey Rivers limp going.
Yeah,
too.
what is that? I've noticed that myself. He's always kind of got that, the way I feel when I get out of bed in the morning.
Yes.
Kind of walk after an out, or.
He fouled the ball off his foot last year, broke his foot. The screws that are in there, it's bothering him a little bit.
Oh. The real McCoy, Senior Grandpa.
Yeah. There's a chopper right side. Duda flips to Wheeler, covering in time to get Rollins. Side is retired. No runs, no hits. 1 man left. There was 1 Mets error. To the 4th we go. Mets up 4-1. Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. Buy W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Mets lead at 4-1. They've won the first 2 games of the series. This is game 3 of 4. We'll wrap it up tomorrow at 1:05. Zach Wheeler will lead it off. Alumni weekend here at Citizens Bank Park. There's been a lot going on. Are there certain guys, Mike, that you look forward to seeing when you come back to these events each and every year?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I must say that I have my favorites. Obviously, they're the guys that I played with.
Sure.
I don't see much of Gary Maddox, and so I enjoy reconnecting with Gary every year. I see Greg occasionally. I see Booney occasionally. When I'm around, when we're doing our thing here, we'll see guys that have living in Philly, Larry Boa, Dick Allen, I see him. But it's just fun getting together with them. And you know me, I like to have a martini every now and then, and things get to be a little more fun, and we tell old stories. And the Phillies, as I said in the opening again, they are unbelievable when it comes to handling us old guys and rolling out the red carpet for us.
Well, I think for the fans, it's always good to see all of you guys as Wheeler struck out. From your era, even from the team that won the championship in 08, the few years before that. I mean, even Aaron Rowan, when he came out, he got a great round of applause. I mean, we haven't seen Aaron for a few years.
Well, you probably are closer to Aaron Rowan than me. However, there's a guy that endeared himself to this town in one play, right?
Hey, well, Ben Revere was going back
taking
on that.
Nothing away from the rest of his game.
Absolutely. When Ben was going back on that fly ball last inning, I'm sure there were people that thought Aaron Rowan when he ran into the fence on the Xavier Nady ball with the bases loaded against the Mets.
Wasn't that more? Where was that in that outfield in relation to the MLB Network?
It was. I want to say it was just over the M in MLB, or just to the right of that. There was no padding there.
Right.
The padding was added. What was it, a week later, Jamie? Was that the padding was added?
Yeah. Yep.
Here it is. We can take a look and get the exact geographic.
Ooh. Oh my gosh! Now
still.
So it was 3 sections over. It was over the E in network.
E in network. Let's make sure we get that to memory. But every time somebody goes back on a ball like that to the fence, you kind of reflect back to that play.
That was a Philadelphia style play right there. You know what I'm saying?
Here's Daniel Murphy. He's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly.
That was almost statue worthy. Rocky.
Yeah, with his face beat up
right
afterward. Yeah, that fence had no chance. 1 ball, no strikes to Murphy. I'm sure most Philly fans know this. I didn't know this. You were telling us before that a guy like Bob Boone. Bob Boone became a catcher because of you as an infielder.
That's right. 1971, Bob was already out of Stanford playing Double-A ball at Reading, and I was drafted by the Phillies, and I was a shortstop at the time, but they saw my future as a third baseman. I did play shortstop, and Bob played third at Reading. Bob consented to becoming a catcher.
Wow. Granderson goes to second. Murphy's aboard. Back-to-back singles.
And he caught, the first game he caught was the exhibition game between the big league club here in 1997, of which I played shortstop in that game, and we went down to Reading to play them an exhibition game. Bob caught, and I played short for the big club, hit a home run in the game to actually win the game 2-1. And I'll never to this day forget, because back then it was kind of perceived as the college hot dog, the high draft choice, and the guys that were slaving in the minor leagues.
Bonus baby.
Yeah, exactly. Bonus baby kind of looked at you like they didn't want to, who's this guy? So I hit a home run. Came across home. I never forget Bob saying some simple little thing like, "Nice hitting, Mike." When I came across him play, he said it, and it's totally startled me. And we've been best friends ever since. They kind of took me under their wing. I stayed there and played with Bob that year, and I played with Bob in AAA. And Sue and Bob took me under their wing when I wasn't married, and I ate a lot of pregame meals at their house. To this day, we're very close. But I was allowed to play third base because Bob Boone consented to learn to catch.
Boy, what a
and
smooth transition.
he goes on to being one of the greatest catchers of all time.
Absolutely. Smooth transition. I mean, I guess they're just guys that are able to do that. You know, I thought for some reason he caught
guys willing to do that.
Yeah. Well, guys willing to do that. 1 ball, 1 strike to David Wright. So I get a miss, 1-2. Jamie, did anybody move off the mound to allow you to pitch? Did you?
No, you can't say that happened. Can't say that happened. The one thing, when I would talk to the minor league pitchers in spring training, I would challenge all of them to try to take my job. When I got done talking to them, I said, you know what, I challenge you to take my job. Because to me, I looked at that as, you know, they're trying to take my job, but it's only going to make me better.
Nice play all the way around. Around the horn double play. A 5-4-3 double play for the Phillies. Gets Kyle Kendrick out of some additional trouble here in the 4th inning. Middle of the 4th, the Mets are on top 4-1. Packs keeps you running and provides fan base satisfaction. Order by 11:30 and get free same-day delivery. Who but WB Mason?
Well, Mike, we got some information on your questioner from early in the game about the Phillies when they don't score in the first 5 runs. The record is 6-29.
About what I expected.
Yeah. Today they did score a run in the first, but they're down 4-1. I think there were 2 things I was surprised at. A, when we first put those numbers together and realized it was 35 games that they had been scoreless, but B, that there was somebody else that had done it more, because it just seems like so many games, and it is.
Thank you to Carl for that information.
Well, it's not good when you're being compared to the Padres and the Astros.
Utley takes a fastball. It's 0-1. Utley homered his only time up. It's the only hit allowed by Zach Wheeler in today's game. It'll be Utley, Howard, and Grady Sizemore against Zach Wheeler. It's that short swing that we talked about with Chase Utley in the first inning.
Not a lot of follow through right there. He just gets to the ball, and that ball, you know, wasn't like it was up. It was about mid-thigh, but he just dropped the head on it. And Mike, that's what you were talking about, that short swing and just getting the barrel in the bat into the zone and making good solid contact. You know, and we talk about the ball off the bat. When we're talking about that 97, you don't have to swing as hard because the pitcher's supplying the power.
There's another foul ball swing, but an attempt at that swing. Chase knows he's got to be short and quick to the ball. That's generally Chase's style that way. I mean, he doesn't have to change much on a day like this, but he knows the shorter and quicker I am today, the more chance I have of hitting this fastball.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Utley.
With a guy like Zach Wheeler too, 50-60% of the time you're going to get a fastball. It's not like he's going to try to trick you and throw 30% changeups.
Again, I compare it to Nolan Ryan. I mean, you try to work the count to where you're getting it. You're getting the express, and do your best to put a quality move on it. The big home run swing's not quality.
Did Nolan Ryan ever deviate from that plan at all? Did he ever?
Well, Nolan Ryan, Jamie probably knows better than I, at the end of his career developed a changeup, which he threw occasionally. Guys like me, 3-1 and 3-2, he didn't have to throw his curveball. When Nolan developed a third pitch, whoa! It made the 96, 97 look like 100 when you actually had to have changeup in the back of your mind, let alone curveball and fastball. Now you got the changeup.
Yeah, I had the good fortune.
And he kind of loved that pitch.
Yeah. I had the good fortune of playing with him in Texas when he really had a handle on that changeup, and it was really like a sinker. It didn't just die; it kind of ran hard. And he had that good 4-seam fastball, and then that hook to come off of that, the curveball, and then by the way, I have that equalizer, that changeup, and he had pinpoint control with his fastball.
The key to him was just hoping you got ahead of him somehow, and then and he'd have to throw it hard, and it would, anywhere on that side of me, I'd try to put it in play. If I hit a foul ball or something, if a foul went off, I'd be saying, "Stay in play, stay in play."
There's the 1-1 pitch to Howard, and he rips it to right field. Granderson was playing deep, catches it at the track, so even there the shift hurts Ryan Howard. There are 2 outs for Grady Sizemore. The other thing too,
Ryan, we've talked at length about Ryan Howard here on our broadcast, and he's a very, very tough hitter for people to figure out. I mean, the same approach to hitting 4 or 5 years ago was producing 50 home runs and 140 RBIs. I cannot put my finger on exactly what might be the difference in Ryan Howard. And of course, you can say one of the things is the shift. He does hit into the shift an awful lot. Takes a lot of hits away from him. When you're taking hits away from a guy, you're taking confidence away. You're, starting long dry spells.
Well, I think we saw that even in the Astros series. Even though he had the game winner, there were also 3 or 4 others that he hit hard, right to the shortstop, right to the second baseman, who were in that kind of shift. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer, shophonda.com. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Budweiser, here's to Budweiser, here's to baseball. And by Chevrolet, visit your local dealer at chevydealer.com. The Phillies Wall of Fame last night, Charlie Manuel was inducted. Jim Thome pulled the drape on Charlie Manuel. There's Charlie's plaque all the way to the left next to Curt Schilling, right above the Toyota logo. The Wall of Fame is open for everybody to take a look at during games.
I thought that was a great moment when Thome pulled that off. And who better to do it than Jim Thome? I mean, a Hall of Fame hitter, player that probably owes it all to Charlie Manuel.
Well, we had a shot of Thome out at the wall, through the crevice of the wall, with just, it was sort of his back, said Thome, 25, and just looking out. I mean, it was an incredible camera shot of him, and it was before he pulled, the drape off the plaque. I saw him today walking in. This is the shot. Look at this. Look how cool this is. He's watching the Fanavision from out in Aspirin Alley in that little crevice, between the wall out there. It's just really neat to see. But I walked in with him today, and he could not. He was saying the same thing you guys have been saying about the weekend, about all the guys, but how they've been treated, just how great it is to be back. He thought Charlie's speech was outstanding. He said it was so Charlie, the way he was out there, just off the cuff, just rolling along. But he said, I told my wife, Andrea, just what an incredible experience this has been to be back here for the last couple of days. And, it's nice to hear that. It really is.
Brings up another subject, that of mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie, I'd be curious to know if you could cite a mentor in your baseball life that they'll push you to a higher level as a pitcher.
Wow. Out to center field, Revere on the run, out toward the track, and it's over his head and over the wall. Duda with his 21st home run of the year. It's 5-1 New York.
I'm playing Pepper with that 401 sign in center field today.
Yeah. Out over the plate.
Anyway, can we go back to the mentorship?
After we see the home run again, we can go back to it.
Yeah, that's your sinker, fastball, whatever you call it, right down, sort of right down Broadway.
Out over the plate.
Out over the plate.
Slightly up. You're not standing anybody up. Yeah. You're not getting ahead in the count to push people off the plate, so they're going to look out over the plate.
That one's hit well. To left field, Dominic Brown will just be a spectator on this one. Darno's gone back-to-back with Lucas Duda. That was a cutter that was up. 9th home run of the year for Darno. And it's 6-1. Mets on top.
It's a good-looking young hitter here, Darno. Who did we say we had, and he went in which trade?
The Halladay deal.
Oh, the Roy Halladay.
And then the Mets got him in the R.A. Dickey trade.
Aggressive first ball hitting, Jamie. Been going on the whole game. Now that was a breaking ball, was it not?
It was a cutter.
It was a cutter, yeah. No, and that's the difference. The days when he's had a lot of success, he's been down in the zone and getting a lot of ground balls. Today he's up in the zone, and they're putting those balls in play, hitting them hard, finding the gaps, and hitting them out of the ballpark. And that's I mean, not that he's missing by an inch or two, but there's a big difference in making quality pitches and mediocre pitches.
Well, what I don't like, and there's another ball smoked right by him. Up the middle. What I don't like is the comfort that the other team seems to have at home plate. When Kyle's pitching, I mean, it's not necessarily just Kyle, but it's sort of the way the game is nowadays. But back in the day, Jamie, if the hitter before me lines it over the 401 sign, and a couple other guys in the game have been playing pepper with the 401 sign. Not fly balls. I'm talking about smoke line drives. And I'm the hitter after the home run. I'm not so sure I'm taking a breaking ball out of the ballpark, because that breaking ball that literally has to start sort of at me, right, and break over the heart of the plate. And I'm thinking, whoa, you know, they don't like, somebody doesn't like being raked all over the ballpark. They might want to loosen this thing up a little bit. And I know I've harped on this before, but it's just too comfortable. And what you're saying is the same thing.
It's not just here, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
If you watch the game, it's everywhere. It's no longer being taught. And again, you know, we're not trying to say you got to go out and hit people. As a pitcher, you have to establish that you're going to throw the ball on the inside of the plate for strikes and off the plate.
In all my breaking balls, you know, everything I start that looks like a little bit at the hitter, they're all not going to end up right over the middle of the plate when they're done breaking. You know, some of them are going to be fastballs, and if you don't think, you might get hit in the ribs.
Boy, it's an excellent point, though, to think about that, just to kind of thinking about that pitch, you know, where Darno with a cutter didn't even blink.
No.
Just sat back and just stayed rock solid in the.
You might hit a fastball out back
Mike,
to back.
Sure. Mike, let me ask you this. In your day, if you went to the plate and never had to worry about a pitch being inside or moving you off the plate, how do you think that would have changed you as a hitter?
Oh, life would have been a lot easier.
And that's
I got to tell you, except for days when left-handers pitched, when right-handers pitched, I worried about it every at-bat.
Wow.
Every at-bat. There was always the potential of having to move your neck, right? Having to jump back. I think we all, you know, some guys handled it better than other guys, and I wasn't one of the great ones handling it, but it was a part of the game where, you know, we just knew that guy on the mound didn't like to get, I wouldn't call it embarrassed, but it shouldn't be that easy to hit to square up the ball all the time.
And I've said this all year long. The hitter dictates the kind of stuff you have, right? If you're hitting, how many times have you hit that real good slider on the blocker just off the plate? How many times have you squared that up? You normally don't. Right?
I didn't square up breaking balls consistently ever. But 20 years.
Well, when you're behind in the count, that's usually what's happening. When you're ahead in the count, the at bat changes for the hitter.
No question. Absolutely. No question. You throw ball one to me, there's a good chance that I would probably hit the ball hard somewhere, especially if you threw ball two. But if you strike one to me, you know the numbers, Jamie. I mean, if you strike one to me, the odds of me hitting it hard somewhere in that at bat really went down significantly. You know what? If you threw one under my neck, things change too.
The ball's one strike to Zach Wheeler. 2 runs are in on back-to-back home runs. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
And that's why they call it pitching, not throwing. Right?
For sure. But you know, it's 6-1 now, and you know we're in the 5th, and you know how they say the horses are out of the barn, or the cows are. What's the old saying?
The horses out of the barn.
Yeah, this is the kind of approach to pitching that the opposition has to know is going to be out there when you're on the mound. This guy's, you know, they used to say their pitchers were effectively wild.
Yeah.
Those are the guys you don't like. You know who was effectively wild early on in his career? A.J. Burnett.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched him on TV, and I'm going, whoo, this would be a tough at-bat from the right side. And I think A.J., with all due respect, has fallen into being more of, say, a pitcher. You know what I mean? Pace himself, move the ball around, and he's got his career stands on its own. I mean, tremendous career. You start looking at some of his numbers, where he stands in strikeouts and such. But I think he'd be the first to admit that he is a different mentality as a pitcher now than he had when he was a young player when he was with the Marlins.
Well, Kendrick gives up back-to-back home runs. We've played 4.5. Phillies now trail it 6-1. Quiz answer. All right, guys, here's the question one more time. Who is the only Phillies rookie to play all 162 games? All 162 games when he was a rookie. I'll give you a hint.
I'm wrong.
You wrote down Willie Montañez. You are incorrect. But that's a good guess.
Good guess. Wasn't he Rookie of the Year?
Yes.
Okay.
So this guy's here today.
I figured he was.
Yes.
He's in the group, in the alumni group?
Yes, he is.
Dick Allen?
Dick Allen is correct. Oh, boy.
Dick Allen was Rookie of the Year as well, right?
Yeah. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. There's Dick Allen. Saw him last night, saw him today.
That was when you played. There were guys that played 162. Do we have any in the league this year that will play 162?
Hunter Pence.
Hunter Pence?
I believe Hunter Pence is on pay. I don't think he's sat at a game yet. Prince Fielder used to play 162 games.
I think that's an impressive thing.
Ryan Howard used to play 162 games. But yeah, I haven't looked, and I shouldn't say it, but I believe when we saw the Giants, Pence had played every game. Dick Allen in 64 hit .318 with 29 home runs, 91 runs batted in. Let's talk about leaving your mark as a rookie.
I hate to say it, Mike, but I think that's a thing of the past for the majority.
Well, if you got 3, 4, maybe 5 guys to do it, it would be a miracle. Even one, I guess, would be.
Yeah. Brown takes off the outside corner 2-1.
I don't know. I don't think I ever did it. I think maybe I had 160 one time, high 150s. Played every day. It was automatic. You played if you were breathing. You played. Maybe we're archaic in our thinking to think that it's it's something that you should do. We played double headers back then too. You played both games. You got 10 at bats, whatever. You just played. It was automatic that you played.
Does those days off mean how many times you faced Nolan Ryan that year?
No, I never sat out. I did have a little bit of a fever one night in Houston when J.R. Richard was on.
We were talking about him the other day. Jamie was saying one day he was walking out of the Astros, but all of a sudden he heard pop, pop, pop.
Oh yeah,
J.R.
down in the bullpen. That's a funny story. He was a wonderful guy. I mean, nice guy. I can imagine if he was a mean dude. A lot of guys his size now pitching had a 97-mile-an-hour slider, and he was about 6'8". I don't know. He was about 6'8", and he looked like he was handing the ball to the catcher. And when he wasn't pitching, I may have told this story before, but he used to jog laps around the field while we were hitting. You know, he could see him jogging around and go here. But we're around the cage going, here comes JR. Here comes JR. He's coming around the cage, and we're taking batting practice. And as he'd run by, you know, it's, hey, JR, how you doing today? What's happening? You know, and he would laugh. And as long as a pitcher, unlike Bob Gibson, who would never talk to a hitter, JR would respond, hey, Mike, how are you? Which always gave me the feeling that
he's going to groove me.
He's a good guy. He's not as mean as he looks. Whereas Gibson, even to this day, scares you if you're a hitter. The Hall of Fame, Bob Gibson. Jeez. Whew.
Well, you played 162 in 74.
I did.
Yeah. And 160 in 76, 79, and 86.
All right. Iron Man.
That's exactly right. 2-1 to Will Nieves with Brown at first. Well, we've gotten to know Dick Allen over the years here since he stopped playing. What kind of a guy was he during the time when he did play?
Well, fantastic. I started with my Dick Allen thing, trying to imitate him when I was in college. You know, we used to stand at home plate and take a little closed stance with the feet together, and how Dick used to, he was a 40-40, and how he would tilt the bat toward the pitcher and then get it all the way back in position to hit. And hit some of the balls they're still talking about. Dick Allen hit. But Dick was a mentor to me. He took a liking to me early on. And back in the day, Dave Cash and Dick Allen were two mentors of mine. And we spent a lot of time talking about the game. We just, you know, I don't know. He was a very interesting man, Dick Allen. When he retired, and several of us went to his farm and his at Percy and went out one day, and we were playing horse in a barn. Horse, I mean basketball horse, not horse in a barn. He had a hoop in his barn. He raised race horses. He had a hoop in his barn, and we're playing horse. Dave Cash and myself, and Richie Ashburn, by the way, was with us, and we talked him into coming back to play for the Phillies in 1975. I think you guys remember that. Jamie probably remembered it. And he played for us in Philly and had a couple of pretty decent years. 75, 76, I guess maybe 77 as well.
We talk about games played. Schmitty, of course, on top, and then Rollins behind him in number 2. All those guys are in the yard here today and this weekend. Back-to-back walks by Wheeler. Put 2 guys on with nobody out here in the 5th inning.
So, you know, there's a difference in today's game, Mike, versus back in 20, 30 years ago. Wheeler's got a 5-run lead, bottom of the 5th inning, gets a 3-2 count. He's throwing 6 fastballs, and he throws a cutter to walk the 7-hole hitter, Will Nieves.
Cardinal sin.
Yeah. You know, you got a 5-run lead, you got a man on, you just walked the guy previously. You got to make him swing the bat to get on base.
See if the Phillies can make him pay on this one. It's outside. It's 1-0 to Ashe.
You know, now you got 2 guys on base. Maybe, you know, hopefully he makes a mistake here. Maybe Cody hits a ball in the gap or pops one out. The Phillies are back in the game.
So the runners taking their lead, not being held on. Mets are at double play depth. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See, you got to have quality at bats now. When you're down 5 runs, you have 2 men on base. This is not something you do with 1 swing of the bat, right, Jamie? I mean, it would be nice if 1 swing of the bat puts the game in within reach. But this is a rally. You know, each guy has to go up there and do what he has to. I'm not making an out. I'm not making an out. Is it a bunt? Is it a ball 4? Somehow you got to just sort of keep the merry-go-round going around. And all it takes to stop the merry-go-round is one guy goes up there and says, I'm gonna hit one out of here. Next thing you know, he rolls over into a double play inning over.
Well, you figure Kendrick is on deck, but he's not going to bat. Hollins is warming up in the bullpen. Reed Brignac is on the stairwell. Two balls and 2 strikes. Still 96 miles an hour here in the 5th. There's Reed. Lagares out in left center field. He had him situated perfectly, and he makes the catch. Let's take a look at today's current weather conditions, brought to you by Oliver Heating Cooling. Visit oliverheatcool.com. Boy, it's been a great weekend. 87 degrees, but no humidity whatsoever. Partly cloudy. Had 3 very good days. Tomorrow is the final day of this 4-game series. Dan Worthen going out to chat with Zach Wheeler.
You and I were, Tommy and I were talking during the break about, this game is a game, but it's a different game to some degree mentally, and the mental approach to the game for the Phillies and the Mets. I'm not 100% sure what the standings are, but the Mets probably still feel like, this year is salvageable. They can get in the thick of this thing at some point. I don't even have much left. But, when you're playing it to where the game and winning the game and all the little things matter, as opposed to when you have a sense that you're not in contention for postseason play, it becomes a different challenge to get yourself to that point. Am I making any sense?
Yeah. Yeah, the way the Mets have played against the Phillies here at Citizens Bank Park adds to that a little bit. The Mets are 8 games back right now in the division, and
probably not as far out of the wild card. I mean, they're probably
6.5 out of the wild card.
Okay, so that's doable for the Mets. And the Mets, the only thing that matters here today is winning this game.
Down the left field line, it is a foul ball. Well, that may have scored at least 1, could have scored 2.
And winning this game is a lot what Charlie talked about. We talked about it last night, but he would talk to us as a manager. There you saw a good low fastball that Brignac hit pretty well for that location.
Right.
96 miles an hour below his knees. Hit that ball pretty well. But getting back to playing today and winning today's game, you can't worry about yesterday's game, and you can't worry about tomorrow's game. Today's the day, and today's the day we need 25 guys to contribute to that game. And when guys buy into that, good things can happen.
Out of play again. It's no balls and 2 strikes to Brignac.
But my point was, it's a given for the Mets to play with that mentality. For example, Brignac comes up, and all of a sudden, big meeting at the mound. We want to know how we're going to pitch this guy, because we want to win this game today. We don't want to just take for granted it's a pinch hitter and we'll just pitch to him. We want to be all on the same page here, because it's important to win the game.
Yeah, they've talked the last couple of days, the Mets have, about changing their approach. They have Dendecker playing today. They're going to give him a whirl for the next 2 months. He was the leading hitter in the Pacific Coast League. They're playing Flores at short instead of Tejada. They let go of Chris Young. Brignac is struck out. Yeah, there are 2 outs now in the 5th inning.
Well, I think my point is, and I've been there before, I think sure Jamie has, where it can start to become more of an individual thing. If you can get up for yourself, I got a game to play today, it's my job, I want to do my best, but I'd really like to hit the ball out of the park in this particular at-bat, when in fact that at-bat may require more of a get-on-base approach, and you start to be more cognizant of your individual accomplishments when you're totally out of it as a team.
How do you stop that?
It takes leadership, and it takes looking in the mirror.
Because I think that it's probably all over baseball in any sport too. I mean, it's probably in other sports too, where you're kind of looking at the individual part of it when you're out of the race.
Yeah, there also comes a point where managers want to see guys play. They want guys to have at bats in certain situations. They may not if the game was a priority game. Let a pitcher go longer than they would normally. Just a different mentality. It's like the PGA Tour today, and you're teeing off first
on the final day.
Yeah, on the final day versus being in one of the contending groups. You just got to find a way to put your best game out there. Ultimately, it becomes a competition between you and the pitcher and the hitter.
Well, Roy talked about it 2 nights ago. He said, look, I didn't worry about what the results were going to be. I worried about what I could do to create what I needed to have done.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really worry about everything else because it's out of my control.
That one's off the end of the bat, caught by Lucas Duda. Phillies threaten. They get the first 2 base runners aboard here in the 5th inning, but they do not score. They leave 2 in scoring position to the 6th inning with the Mets up 6-1. Of the week is the quick-footed center fielder who's been reaching base with consistency since the beginning of July. Ben Revere raised his batting average above 300 by the beginning of August, and his on-base percentage for the month of July finished at a solid .379. His fast feet have taken him to the 30-plus stolen base plateau for the 3rd time in his career. They've also guided him to the deepest part of the outfield, stealing runs away. And his efforts are brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, that was a very good play by Ben Revere up at Citi Field. There's been a couple of others as this week has moved on. On a beautiful Sunday afternoon, getting a chance to enjoy a Phillies game with the family. Mets are on top 6-1. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph?
Well, you know what, Tom, you guys were just talking about maybe a little bit of a different perspective for the New York Mets and the Phillies as they come into this game. And it's interesting because the season did not start out that way for the New York Mets, but sometimes it's just a small thing that can help bring a team together. Curtis Granderson, who's up to bat right now, was part of what happened for the New York Mets. About 2 months ago, he told his teammates that there was a lack of energy in the dugout and they needed to do something about it. So he decided that every time they got a base hit, like he did just there, that they should swing their towels around in the dugout just like that. They call them the hitting towels. Every time someone gets a base hit for the New York Mets, that's what you see in their dugout. And it has morphed into the car wash after a guy hits a home run like Travis d'Arnaud did the other night. They have to run through the gauntlet of towels. Now, it may sound silly. It may sound like inconsequential, but a lot of the folks you talked to around the New York Mets said it was one thing that kind of energized that dugout, kind of brought the team together, and they have some fun with it. And there's nothing wrong with that when you're playing the game of baseball, right?
Well, there's nothing wrong at all about the fun. And I guess even if it's something that is somewhat animated like that, it was a veteran player who came up with it to try to stir that sort of energy that we've talked so much about here in 2014 with the Phillies ball club and the Phillies dugout during the course of the season. Probably go through a lot of towels, too.
Oh, and I think it gets the guys up on the bench. You know, it keeps them in the game. You know, there's some. I'm sure there's some banter going along with it. I'm sure there's a little bit of tomfoolery going along with it. But it's keeping guys in the game and keeping them focused on the game. And I think one thing I've heard a lot of people talk about, and several teams, especially in these new ballparks, video rooms being so close to the field, and guys going back and look at video during the course of the game, and all of a sudden there's nobody on the bench. And I've heard people talk about that. You know, all of a sudden that team on the bench is no longer there.
I like it. I think a rallying point is important to a baseball team. I mean, things can get away from you. You know, Jamie and I were talking that intensity that you play the game with. I mean, the camaraderie from the guys on the bench, where they feel a part of the game that day. When things aren't going well, you got to search for something to get the team to rally around. And if I can say it, I don't think our team has found that this year. You know what I mean? That something to bring them together. And it's really hard to define what it is or what it can be.
Check swing, ground ball to third. Ashe flips to second for one, over to first, not in time. So the putout goes 5-4. Well, I guess you can probably, some people might think it's hokey, but if it gets the job done, it gets the job done. You know, something like that.
Well, you know, these guys up here are Major League Baseball players, but they got a lot of little boy in them.
Well, this is the home run by Lucas Duda. And Kendrick, as he watches that one go by. So I think
yeah, we see that.
I think he's talking to the umpire.
He might be talking to the umpire there.
You got, you know, the ball came. The ball came back from the umpire in that direction. I think he asked him if it was a strike.
Either that or he missed a pitch before it or something. But yeah, I don't think that was so much to the Mets dugout as it was to the umpire.
No balls and one strike to David Wright. I think that, let's say if you're the Phillies and the Mets do that, I think so many teams do things like that. The Cardinals do stuff like that. The Pirates do stuff like that. That it's sort of old hat.
Well, and they're doing it in their own space. It's not like they're flaunting it at the Phillies or taunting the Phillies with it.
He makes a nice play to get David Wright. Up to second base goes Murphy.
I think I've seen a first here, 2 plays in a row in one inning where where the third baseman backhanded the ball to the second baseman for an out, and the second baseman backhanded the ball, backhand flip to the first baseman for an out. Now, if it happens again,
the catcher
we
comes
got ourselves
out, fields
a record,
the ball and flips it off to the side.
And by the way, I thought I had a patent on that play as the third baseman, and not
flipping it like that.
Yeah, going in front of the shortstop, catching the ball, and giving him the backhand flip for the double play. And I see Cody Ashe has taken over that. It's in his repertoire. That's a good thing to see. That means you cover some serious ground.
Chase has done that often with his flip to second. You know, that's how he would flip it a lot of times to Rollins at second base.
Well, when you're close enough, it's quicker than kind of turning your body and making the throw.
Check swing, 1 ball, 1 strike to Duda. Phillies have 1 hit here this afternoon. They've given up 11. Outside, 2-1. Low ball 4, and then I'll put runners on first and second. And Darno's coming up. We talked about Ashe's defense and what he did last night. Here's one of the 2 plays. We'll see both of them.
Actually, I think these 2 plays he made in last night's game are 2 of the best plays in one game you might ever see by a third baseman.
Sort of forced him to go both ways.
Yeah. You know, you saw the dive to both sides. Now, let's not forget that Ryan Howard made a nice pick on the one play right there.
Yeah, he did.
Without that pick by Ryan Howard, we may not be showing the highlight, but I think Ryan's quite good, by the way, defensively at picking the ball out of the dirt at first base. I think he's got nice soft hands. We tend to forget that because of maybe a little bit of a lack of range and arm strength and confidence in the arm. But Ryan's very good around the bag with his glove.
I think he's progressed this year from a lot of times early on. He was using both hands to scoop those balls. And he's getting that one hand out to sort of sweep it a little bit more, which has made him a little more fluid, too, over at first. No balls, 2 strikes. Out toward left field, playable for Dominic Brown. And he makes the catch. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. Middle of the 6th, Jimmy Rollins will lead things off when we return for the bottom of the 6th.
Time now for our cold hard fact presented by Frost Brewed Coors Light, and it's about Cole Hamels, guys. As we look back at his outing yesterday, he has pitched at least 7 innings and allowed 1 run or fewer in all 5 of his starts since the All-Star break. The last major league pitcher to register 5 straight starts of that type immediately following the Midsummer Classic was another Phillies left-hander. You might know him, Steve Carlton, back in 1972.
Well, Lefty was out on Ashburn Alley today. He was doing a sit-down with Scott Palmer and Roy Halladay. They were on the Big Sunday Show together, the Behind the Pinstripe segment of the Big Sunday Show together today. There's the Sarge.
I'd like to get a copy of that. I'd like to see that show. Carlton and Roy.
Yeah, it must have been pretty interesting, the topics that the 2 of those guys were chatting about. There's Rollins to lead it off. He takes outside. It's 1-0.
That's like a giant barrel full of intensity right there and focus. You know, I mean, you're 2 guys with more focus in your life than those 2. You
got a point there.
Oh, I'm telling you, neither guy cared about results. Right? Their whole approach to pitching was execution. Right. The plan. You know, boom, boom, boom. But Lefty didn't even know who was hitting half the time.
Inside corner, and it's 1-2. It's amazing that he didn't even know who was hitting half the time.
But when you had the kind of stuff that they had, it didn't matter. And it really came down to execution. I mean, 2 gifted pitchers.
Roy just I had a wonderful discussion with Roy last night. And our approaches to our craft were very similar. As I found out in the discussion, whereas I developed an approach to hitting what allowed me to play the percentage. In other words, if I over and over and over put that good downswing level through the ball at any pitch, anywhere, at any time, that over the course of the year, and I proved this to myself in '86 and '87 at the end of my career, where I sort of changed to that approach, that I would be the best hitter that I could possibly be when it all came out in the wash in the end. As does Roy Halladay. He had his process, he had his preparation, he had everything, and he just kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And at the end of the year, when you added it all up, Cy Young.
Well, and I wondered with him, you know, how he decompressed from that when he retired. You know what I mean? Where he was doing that all the time for the last handful of years as a pitcher. Now that's missing from this part of the year for him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, I don't know how hard it is for all you guys to decompress after all those years.
I think that's why you see almost a total turnaround in personality from guys like that when they retire.
Rollins grounds it foul, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I mean, Roy, he was we told the story at the luncheon the other day. I mean, he was actually a little bit scary to be in his space, you know. You were worried that you might be getting in the way of something, you know.
Your life revolves around your schedule. Is really what it comes down to.
You know what,
when you think
Jamie,
about it.
and Jamie, you probably were guilty of it too, as Jimmy has that in a heck of an at bat here. So if he'll keep fouling these balls off, we can keep telling this story. It's a very selfish approach to life in your profession, and you have to be selfish. I mean, I know I was. I have to thank God that my wife and my family were able to live with me for all the years that I played ball, but I was a selfish person. It was a lot about my schedule and me doing what I felt I needed to do. All players have a different level of what they think they need to do to be a level they need to be.
Another foul ball. It remains 2-2.
You get labeled a little bit aloof or standoffish, or in the whole process, as Roy I'm sure was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A very likable guy, and as his teammate, you knew him better than everybody else. But from the outside, people look at Roy Halladay. Man, he's a scary guy.
Well, I know. I used to just say hi and then just keep on moving.
That's right. But when he said hi to me one time in spring training, I almost fainted. He knew my name.
He called you Mikey.
Yeah.
Hi, Mikey.
But when you were around it every day, you understood it. And your teammates probably understood you to a certain extent as a player. Some did, some didn't, but it didn't matter for you because you knew what it took you to get to the place to be on a daily basis to go out there and play. That's why you played 162 games, 158 games, 159 games, and produced as a third baseman the way you have.
It's important to be consistent with your pretty much your routine. I was a guy who was all about routine for me, and as I said, you can be a little selfish when it becomes all about your routine.
Well, this is right now a 13 pitch at bat. This will be number 14 for Rollins. He's worked the count full 3-2. Out front, pops it up. Boy, he had everything but the result in that at bat. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. The annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By McDonald's, any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery, benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
And that was a good battle by Jimmy leading off the inning.
14 pitches.
14 pitch at bat, and it looked like Jamie didn't look like a 3-2 changeup or something.
Yeah, it was.
Swung fastball and all of a sudden realized it was a changeup.
But that's the type of at bat I think you were referring to earlier when we were having the conversation about sometimes you have to give up yourself in situations to move a runner or to move a guy over, hit behind a runner, lay down a bunt, whatever it is. That is, I think, the epitome of at bats that you were referring to. Now, if there's guys on and you're doing that, wearing down a pitcher, that took him from 82 pitches to 96 pitches.
Well, Jimmy can go and sit down in the dugout right now and know that he gave about everything he could give in that at bat. I mean, he was not an easy out. He was trying to make contact, trying to get on base, and the pitcher just made a crazy pitch at 3-2. And of course, he can do that with a 6-1 with a 5-run lead.
Here's 100th pitch of the day, and Utley fouls it back. There were 8 foul balls in that at bat to Jimmy Rollins.
Oh, and that at bat may have just knocked. This might be his last inning. Might have gotten him out of the game.
Yeah, he's gone 6 innings in 7 straight. This would be number 8. But he hasn't gone 7 innings that often during that stretch. Utley shoots it to the left side, a base hit. So he has both hits today for the Phils, the home run and the single to left field. That'll bring Ryan Howard to the plate, and Ryan is on a list which includes Schmitty and also Willie Stargell, the career leaders in home runs against the Mets. You couldn't catch Willie, huh? You couldn't catch him.
Well, he had me by a few there.
11, yeah.
And, you know, Shea Stadium wasn't the friendliest of places to hit. And Seaver, Matlack, Kuzman, and Dwight Gooden weren't the most fun either.
No, I would imagine they were pretty tough. 60 home runs for Willie Stargell for Pops against the Mets. Down the left field line, that'll slice out of play, and it's 0-1. How many did you have against the Cubs? How many did you have against the Cubs?
The Cubs, I believe the Cubs, and you got to watch out what you say around here because stats man over here will give you the truth. You know,
all right, Carl, let's get the truth. I know it was a lot. Let's see how many home runs Schmitty hit.
I think it was
the Cubs.
70. I think it was 50 and 20.
I know I contribute to that number.
That's a well hit ball.
Yeah, to left field. Dendecker to the track makes the catch.
Seemed to be off the bat. It had a nice sound up here.
He hit one the other day that sounded like it was out of the ballpark, and Lagares caught it right at the wall. Well, here we go against the Cubs.
We had this discussion a while back, didn't we?
We did. Well, we were talking about the players who own the Cubs.
And who owned them? That was,
according to the article that I read, it was Mark McGuire. But there were several others up there that you could say own the Cubs.
And I was watching on TV that night, and immediately I started online to figure out, is that right? I thought it was me.
Yeah. Well, he also had a whopper of a batting average against them, too. Sizemore's 0 for 2. He is grounded out twice. Hit the ball sharply his last time up. And now it's 2 balls and no strikes.
I'm honored to be third on the list that has Willie Mays and Hank Aaron ahead of me.
That is kind of neat to look at that list. If you're not at the top of it, those are the guys that are ahead of you. 3-0.
Well, we played a lot of games in one ballpark back then. I mean, we played the Cubs 18 times, I believe, in our division. We played only 9 ball games in Wrigley Field a year.
You might have played more than that. Yeah, no, you made 3 trips.
Right.
Yeah. There's ball 4. That'll put runners on first and second. Okay, you made 3 trips to each city. Ben Worthen coming out to chat with Zach Wheeler. There is bullpen action for the Mets with Dominic Brown coming up.
Speaking of Wrigley Field, it's funny what the different approach to hitting you had when you were in Wrigley Field, because it was a small ballpark, and you had a sense that you didn't need to, I want to say, crush the ball to hit a home run. All you needed to do was put it on the fat part of the bat, and you found that you became a better hitter when your approach to hitting was more of a just make contact, square the ball up, and we'll see what happens. Because a lot of times you hit fly balls and they drop in the basket. And that's the kind of mentality I would like to see our hitters come up with here at this ballpark. More of a small ballpark approach to hitting. You don't need to swing hard to hit the ball out of here, you know?
Yeah, Charlie used to talk about that simplistically, just saying, fly ball's just a home run or a home run's just a fly ball that carries out of the yard. 1 ball, no strikes to Dominic Brown. Buddy Carlisle is warming up in the pen for the Mets. That was the right-hander who you saw. Brown has walked. He has struck out. And he lines it to right field, a base hit. Utley's around third. He's going to score. Sizemore on his way to third. And he's being waved in. Granderson has a little trouble with it. The throw knocks Murphy off kilter. It'll be a 2-run double. It's now a 6-3 ball game.
It's a new ball game. Dominic Brown hit a good pitch right here. That was a slider slash, I know everything's a cutter nowadays, but that ball was down and in off the plate. That was a quality pitch, Jamie.
Yes, it was. Look, actually, yeah, down and in, kind of in his honey hole.
Not so much a quality pitch to the left-handers who love the ball down in there, but I mean, it wasn't out over the plate or anything. And Dominic raked that thing down the right field line. And credit Pete McCannon for sending him. I saw Pete glance out there and see the bobble in right field, and with 2 outs, of course, you wanted to try to get that run in. So we got a new ball game right now.
The Phillies down by just 3, even though they have 3 hits today. 3 hits for the Phils, 11 for the Mets, and now Will Nieves, who's walked and struck out.
I would have thought that would have been his last hitter, actually. I mean, you got to be getting up there and then with a 110 total, right?
Well, yeah, and that at bat that Rollins had, it took an awful lot out of him too. A 14-pitch at bat to start this inning. Josh Edgin is the lefty warming up.
Well, this will be his last hitter if he doesn't get him out.
Chopper back toward the mound. Phillies scored 2 in the inning, so they make it a ball game on the 2-run double by Dominic Brown. We've completed 6. We'll go to the 7th. Mets up 6-3. Well, the local Honda dealers game summary. The Phillies trail at 6-3 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Kyle Kendrick went 5 innings today, 10 hits and 5 earned runs. Meanwhile, Zach Wheeler's probably done after going 6 innings, 5 strikeouts. He's sort of puttered out in the 6th inning. And now as we go to the 7th, Mario Hollins, who's already pitched an inning for the Phillies, will go back to work. We'll face Matt Dendecker, Juan Lagares, and Wilmer Flores. Phillies Wall of Fame induction included Charlie Manuel last night. For a number of years, it was a Philly and a Philadelphia A. representative that went into the Phillies Wall of Fame. A couple of things that stood out from last night's Wall of Fame ceremonies. Obviously Charlie's speech, which was as natural can be. But I think you could even say the same thing about the guy that introduced him. As that ball is hit to right field, Sizemore.
Dallas
Green.
He did a nice job of introducing Charlie. No notes, nothing written down, and total ad lib. It looked to me like, and Dallas really did a nice job. I thought.
Talk about us old school guys knew that Charlie could be a good manager here in Philadelphia. Us old school guys. Here's Lagares. Too bad you weren't here a few days ago, Mike. Dallas dropped off a couple of cases of corn from his farm right here in the hallway.
Sweet corn. I'd have grabbed a few of those.
Gone in minutes. It was as if it was a sale. Literally, the boxes were emptied in minutes.
Oh, we up in Rhode Island, whew, we have corn every meal this time of year.
2 balls and 1 strike. The ball is pulled foul, or excuse me, shot foul to the right side.
That ball's got to be caught
by the fan,
yeah,
or by the vendor.
They should be booing him down there for missing it, although he didn't have a glove.
Well, they're all in the sun there. They're sort of wilting at this point in these on this warm afternoon. Look, they're all saying, "Look at the sun. The sun was in my eyes."
Maybe we can get a replay of that. He needed to jump over those seats in front of him, so it would have been an easier play. And you need to call it. I got it. People will get away from you.
Kind of short armed it, and she's like, "What?"
Nice move. I moved so
nice
you could catch
play.
that.
There's a base hit to left field for Lagares. A 1-out single. These lucky fans are today's Citizen 7. They were to receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal. And that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank, good banking is good citizenship.
Lagares, nice looking hitter too. Denard, Lagares.
Yeah, the Mets think that Lagares, we were talking about this last night, should be in the conversation for the Gold Glove out in center field. Although he's only played 79 games. That one's hit well out to center. Revere is under it, makes the catch. 2 outs.
I'll tell you, I'm a believer in this. First thing you got to be is a good first ball, fastball hitter. And the Mets, Jamie, today, how many first ball fastballs have been swung at today? Normally, you see a lot of work to count, take the first pitch, spot them, strike one. You see that approach to hitting a lot nowadays. These guys are letting it fly.
I think the Astros tried to do that too, but they just weren't the same. They didn't have the same success, obviously, that the Mets have had with that approach.
That could go to a hitting coach. I'm not sure who the Mets hitting coach is, but it could go to a philosophy by the Mets hitting coach. I tell you, it would be mine if I were a hitting coach. Guys, one thing we're going to do is let the opposition know that we will smoke a first ball fastball. To get some pitcher off of that pitch, then, trying to throw a breaking ball for strike one. Most likely it ends up to be ball one.
Lamar Johnson is the hitting coach for the Mets. He took over earlier this season. They made a change in season. 1 ball, 1 strike to Eric Campbell. Out of play, 1-2.
How many you got?
You got 5 first pitch hits and 4 first pitch outs.
9 first pitch swings
that have been put in play.
Yeah, that's not swing and miss first pitch fastballs either, or first pitches. he went around. And that'll do it for the 7th inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Time to stretch here at Philadelphia. Alumni weekend. A beautiful Sunday afternoon with the Phillies down by 3. The Phillies scored a couple runs in their half of the 6th inning. Let's see if they can get closer against the Mets bullpen. Phillies will be back home at Citizens Bank Park for that series against the Mariners on the 18th. And then they start a 3-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals on Friday, August 22nd. 2 night games and a day game. The giveaway on Sunday the 24th is the ShopRite Back to School Gym Bag. That's for fans 14 and under. Tickets for that homestand can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Well, we go to the 7th inning. Vic Black will be the new pitcher for the Mets. Black, 33rd game, 2-3, a 1.63 ERA. This young man has himself a live arm. And he's gotten better as the year's gone on for the Mets. And he will face Cody Ashe and then a pinch hitter, Darren Ruff, at the top of the order. Well, even before the alums were introduced today, there was a ceremony honoring Sal Rendy. Sal was presented with the John Vukovich Award. Sal was the hitting coach for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. He's been a hitting coach in the Phil system for quite some time. Also can hit a golf ball pretty darn good.
Yes, he can.
But a great guy.
So can his son, who's a very accomplished young golfer, up-and-coming young golfer. I believe young professional, I might add. No, Sal's a fantastic guy. I've worked with Sal 10 years in spring training. We've played a lot of golf together, and well deserving of the John Vukovich Award.
Yeah, well, that award's been given out each and every year since Vuk passed away, and it's given out to a member of the Phillies organization that shows that sort of love, that passion, that desire that Vuk had for the game of baseball. It's nice that Sal was able to be here and be recognized with that award today. On Alumni Day, too, with so many of the alums that were on hands.
It's a great weekend, the whole weekend, really. It's great seeing old teammates, the alums, the Wall of Fame, hanging out with Schmitty here in the booth on Sundays. See the Canadian guy meandering around here.
Have you seen the Canadian guy?
Yes, I have.
Mike?
Oh, yes.
Matt's been off from broadcasting this week, but he's been here entertaining. He's had a bunch of friends from the great country of Canada come in and spend some time here at the ballpark. Cody Ashe will lead it off for the Phillies here in the 7th inning. 1 ball and no strikes to Ashe.
Never did I think I'd be hanging out with Mike Schmidt in a broadcasting booth.
See, Schmitty, it's nice to have you
Never
around.
did I think you would either. Meaning that I never thought I would be here.
There's a flip to first, 3-1 on a putout.
Another well-hit ball by the Phillies. Got picked by Lucas Duda. It was a tough hop, but he made a nice play on it.
So Ashe's retired. Ruffle pinch hit. Got a chance to talk to Jim Thome about his statue in Cleveland. There's Schmitty's statue outside of Citizens Bank Park.
See any debris or any?
No, I don't.
Gum on it or anything we need to get off?
Off the end of the bat, a little floater out to left field. No, we have folks that walk by it periodically just to make sure that it's maintained.
Shine it a little bit.
We had a great shot of a little kid out in Ashburn Alley. Was it 2 nights ago, Jamie, or last night? Trying to emulate Whitey in his statue. It was actually kind of funny. He was trying to pose like Whitey out in the center field. Here we go. Who says the Heisman is the pose? He's got the foot up.
Jamie, I just got to bring a strategy play up. I'm not a fan of first ball swinging when you're down 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, you got to make him pitch. You got to give him a chance to walk you. You know what I mean. You got to get into the at bat. Nothing matters in these at bats right here other than getting base runners, trying to get to your bombers, the meat of your batting order with some men on base. The only way you get back in the game, right?
And especially now with bringing in a new pitcher. Where if you got your starter in the game, he's already established a tempo to the game, a rhythm to the game, and how he's going to kind of come at you. But to me, that's the same way you can potentially start a game by trying to get the pitcher, force the pitcher to work and not allow him to get into a tempo.
And it well hit ball up the middle. There you go. Got you a base runner, but it's with 2 outs. And it goes back to that discussion we had earlier in the broadcast about the game and playing the game to win and intensity and doing the right thing at the right, what the game calls for in certain situations.
Yeah, and being down by 3, mathematically.
You never know. I mean, this is hindsight, but Jimmy's hitting out with a man on first and 2 outs, but the first 2 hitters in the inning had worked the at bat a little bit longer and maybe taken a pitch or taken a strike. Who knows? You might have gotten a walk out of somewhere in the first 2 batters of the inning, and maybe Jimmy's hitting as the tying run.
I think Black did the same thing last night. I think he got the first 2 outs. Jamie wasn't on like 5 pitches or something like that last night.
No, and you got a new pitcher in the game, so he's trying to find his niche for the day. What am I going to have that fastball I had in the bullpen, or I have that curveball?
No balls, 1 strike to Rollins. Off the end of the bat, it's 0-2.
Well, he's got the fastball at 98.
I've oftentimes said there's anybody can play this game when you're leading, when you got a big lead. It's the mentality to know how to come from behind. It's the mentality to know how to play the game when you're not ahead in the game, when you got to play catch up. And good teams have a sense for that. Especially in today's game when, Jamie, the strike zone's the size of Tommy's notebook here, right?
I agree with you, Mike.
There you go. Now you got the tying run at home plate.
So Rollins gets a hit. Toyota Major League scoreboard. The Reds have defeated the Marlins 7-2. Devin Mesoraco hit 2 home runs for the Reds. Mesoraco out of Punxsutawney.
We got the wave from the Mets bullpen that the left-hander is ready.
Yeah, they're using that towel for more than just celebrating in the dugout. Well, there's Terry Collins. Is he coming out?
I'm very surprised if they let him pitch to Utley, he's got 2 in the game already, 1 a home run. I hope they do.
Well, they are. So he's the tying run.
But Jamie, would you let the right-hander pitch to Utley? Why? Because he's the tying run? I mean, you surely wouldn't let the right-hander pitch to Howard, would you?
I would not think so. And you got the lefty up, and he's ready. I mean, there's a reason why you had him up, right?
It was for this spot, I would think.
You know, in the 2 previous games, you know, they bring the lefty to turn Jimmy around.
Two balls, no strikes.
The telling pitch right here, in my mind. Chase Utley 2-0, tying run at home plate, right-handed pitcher. It's a telling pitch right here in my mind. With Greg Luzinski hitting behind me in the same predicament back in the day, I 100% guarantee you they challenge me with a fastball. That makes hitting a little easier, or a lot easier. Yep.
He did throw a fastball in 96.
It was a little off the plate, but I mean, he challenged him. There's no question. And Chase was ready. You know, it just. I want to say it was a tough pitch to hit because it's probably off the plate inside.
So that's why you wanted somebody productive like Bull to be behind you.
I want somebody behind me a hitter in that situation wants to know. He looks over in the on deck circle and knows that dude over there they don't want any part of. They don't want to walk me.
We've seen that a lot this year where Utley hasn't gotten that fastball. And he pulls it down the right field line. It'll stay fair. It's going to roll to the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes Rollins. He's going to score. Utley's on his way to third. He'll get there sliding or standing. It's a 6-5 ball game. And Utley's a double away from the cycle here this afternoon.
Yeah, the double's easy to get when you're.
He got the hard one, I think.
Okay, I tell you, this played out amazing. Terry Collins probably wished he would have gone to that left-hander, right? Utley had a beautiful swing. Watch him keep his head down. Bam! The ball's gone. The short, quick downstroke. Again, he got to the left-hander, Jamie, the fastball down and in.
Well, Chase now with 3 RBIs. A homer in his first at-bat, a single in his last at-bat, a triple here.
Credit Jimmy Rollins with a good at-bat, poking that single to left field, too. That set this whole thing up.
get the retro 2-button style baseball game you've been missing. Visit RBIGame.com for more details and download today on your console or mobile device.
Hey, there's a lot going on here, Tom.
Big time. Lefty on to face Howard.
Jamie said, how about Chase stealing home? I said, how about Ryan dropping a bunt? How about all this kind of stuff? You know what? Sometimes in baseball, you just have to sit back and watch. That's all you can do.
And that's exactly what we're going to do.
That's right. That's all you can do. I mean, this is a tough at-bat. Lefty on lefty, Ryan Howard.
Howard has had better numbers against lefties average-wise. Edging this year against lefties has held him to a 176 average.
Here's where it would really be nice to have kind of a go-to stroke where you feel like you can really identify and make contact. Oh my God! See, it's just a tough at bat. I mean, let's just watch. He just got handed a stat with this confrontation here that he has 2 home runs.
2 for 8, 2 home runs. That ball was right at the knees. There's the 1-2 pitch coming to Howard. Lays off 2-2. Jamie, this is what he did the other night in the Astros game against Sitt. He held off those curveballs, those sliders.
Then he threw him a fastball. He fouled it off. He threw him another fastball and drove it out of the ballpark.
Well, Chase is almost halfway to home plate over here, but you just can't. You got your cleanup hitter hitting, and he's the winning run. I mean, see what I'm saying?
Oh, he broke.
It's a good take. 3 good takes in a row. I think Chase, what he was trying to do is create a ball. You know, maybe you get a flinch or something.
Well, he startled me. I thought he was coming home.
He also had to be careful to distract Ryan. You know, it's something to take his mind off of the concentration.
I was thinking the same thing. And Chase knows that. He knows that.
Howard is down on strikes with the tying run at third. Just couldn't hold up on that breaking pitch. The Phillies inch closer. Down by 1 on the 2-run triple by Utley. We'll go to the 8th. On store for the ride of your life. And save big today by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And buy the Quality Plus Sports Stores. Go further. Oh, this was a 6-1 ball game. It's now 6-5 as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Hats off to Mario Hollins. He did allow 3 base runners or 4 base runners during his 2 innings, but he was able to get through those 2 innings without allowing a run, which is why we go to the 8th. And the Mets still sit at 6 runs. 6 runs on 12 hits. Jake Diekman takes over. Chase Utley's had himself a day offensively. He listened to your key, Mike, what Sarge used to say.
Well, he's got 3.
Yeah.
Wow. But you know, you go back to It's a thrilling moment in a game, just a game, and people come to the game. They can see Ryan Howard hit with the anticipation, and I can't tell you how many times I was in that position. Everybody thinks cleanup hitter's going to hit a home run, win the game. Boom. The letdown. The letdown. The big time letdown.
But you guys hit cleanup most of your life, so you had a lot of those opportunities, or in the middle of the order most of your life. No balls and 2 strikes to Granderson. Granderson's had 3 hits or 2 hits today. Will hangs on, so a strikeout. Thought maybe that skipped into the dirt. 1 away. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, time for the Major League Notebook, brought to you by Gwinnett Mercer University. And the Tigers have been hit by the injury bug in a big way today. They placed starter Anibal Sanchez and closer Joaquim Soria on the 15-day disabled list. Comes at a bad time for the Tigers as they battle the Kansas City Royals in the Central Division. Kansas City has won 6 in a row, and they're just game and a half back of the Detroit Tigers. And the Mets also wondering about Jacob deGrom, their starter. He is going to miss his scheduled Tuesday start against the Nationals. He headed back to New York today to get a look at a sore shoulder. They're not sure whether or not he'll have to miss more than 1 start, but as of right now, just 1 start for Jacob deGrom. He was supposed to start on Tuesday against the Nationals. And by the way, just looking at the scoreboard over there, Kansas City Royals 7-1 over the Giants right now in the 7th inning, so on their way to their 7th straight win, guys.
Mike, you're going to have to call George Brett. Talk to him about those KC Royals.
They're on fire.
1 ball and 1 strike to Murphy. Slaps it the other way. Dominic Brown toward the line. Gets there. Two outs.
Just looking in Mets dugout again here after the fly ball to left field. I don't know if these towels are getting some attention.
Were they twirling them?
Well, not on the out. They
okay. I didn't know if they anticipated that was going to be a hit.
Mike, I noticed in a highlight over the weekend that you had the number 22 on your back early in your career.
That was the number that I got
initially?
The first year, the call-up year.
What prompted you to change it to 20?
Roger Freed. Roger Freed, an outfielder for the Phillies back then, I believe got released or traded, and it opened up number 20. The number was hanging in my locker when I went to spring training.
So you didn't wear that in college or anything like that, 20? No.
You saw a highlight with
I had number 22.
I think I had a highlight.
I'm telling you, I think it's the first time I saw that highlight. I mean, we've seen a bunch of highlights this weekend. You know which highlights we saw that startled me? Charlie in Japan. I've never seen those highlights before.
What do they call him over there? The big red something? He had a nickname.
Red Devil?
Red, I think it's what it was. Amazing.
Well, it's appropriate since he had all those nicknames for everybody else. How about Diekman? 2 strikeouts here in the 8th inning. The Mets go down in order. Phillies down by 1. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Grady Sizemore is due to lead things off when we return. Box score. We're going to show you both teams here this afternoon. The Mets, 2 hits for Curtis Granderson, 2 hits for Juan Lagares, a home run for d'Arnaud and Duda. They went back-to-back. And for the Phillies, well, they've been surging here lately. Chase Utley, 3 hits today. He's a double away from the cycle. And now we start the bottom of the 8th inning. Sizemore will lead it off against Josh Edgin. Sizemore, Brown, and Nieves. The Mets do have a right-hander warming up in the bullpen. It's Buddy Carlisle. You wonder if Ryan Sandberg will use Marlon Byrd if Sizemore gets on. Ken Giles loosening in the pen for the Phils. Out of play, 1-2.
You'd think Marlon Byrd's going to play a role somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't forget we got Chooch sitting over there as well. The home run last night.
Carlos will hit for Nieves. Swing and a miss, 1 out. Edgin has struck out the first 2 batters he's faced. Fans, next time you're looking to pick up great seats to the game, head to StubHub, where you can earn 2% back in fan rewards on every purchase, including Phillies tickets. StubHub, your ticket to upgrades and more.
It's not so, I mean, it's important. Obviously, we get base runners and score, but keep in mind, if we can get a base run or 2, we do bring the tying or the winning run to home plate, puts tying run on. But the important thing is that we turn a couple players over here so that in the 9th inning, if we don't get runs here, we can get into, we can get into Utley and we can get into Howard, hopefully, and Jimmy. You got to get away from that 8-9-1. You want to get somebody up there with some pop.
Out of play, off to the left. It's 0-2.
I'd be interested to see a replay of that last swing if we could get it. I think it almost looks like he was saying, I'm hitting this ball to left field.
3 straight strikeouts for Edgin. 2 outs. He was a little tardy on that one. Well, 2 away for Will Nieves. Dan Worthen out to the mound to chat with Josh Edgin.
Yeah, I'm sure Jamie. So he's out there to say, look, there's the one right-hander here in this inning. We got to let's make sure we watch all of our pitches. There's that pitch we're talking about. Dominic really looks like he was, committed to going to left field with whatever was thrown up there in that pitch. And Dominic, 27 home run power last year, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, there's a guy that can get himself a fastball middle in somewhere and tie this game up.
He has the 2-run double today. That brought the Phils to within 3. Then Utley's triple has brought them to within 1.
But again, back in that meeting, I think they want to make sure they don't do anything stupid in this at-bat right here. Well, those left-handed relievers are valuable, aren't they?
When they can face both righties and lefties.
Today's game, especially against our team, we're predominantly left-handed hitting ball club. For years, it's been that way here. Very successfully, I might add. But we've always been vulnerable to tough left-handed relievers.
Yeah, you think about the teams in the division, what they've done in recent years to try to offset the Phillies lefties. I mean, the Mets had Pedro Feliciano for all those years. The Braves, from Johnny Venters to Luis Avilan to Eric O'Flaherty, people like that. just to try to offset the Utleys and the Howards and the Victorinos and the Rollinses. Swing and a miss. Nieves is struck out. And Edgin has struck out all 4 batters that he's faced here this afternoon. We'll go to the 9th inning. It's still a 1-run game. Time now for our AT&T fan photo of the game. This one is going to show off HK's. Harry the K's out in left field. Just hanging at Harry the K's. Always good to see a picture of HK. Son Kane did take me out to the ball game last night here at the ballpark. You can tweet your photo using hashtag #PhillyFanPhoto. Have a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Ken Giles will take over here in the top of the 9th inning.
It's mind-boggling to me how you could do so many things at one time. You keep score, you checking your tweets, you're reading a spot camera, you're opening the inning.
Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The multitasking thing doesn't always end properly.
That's it. Speaking of multitasking, I'm trying to take that out of my life. I'm a big multitasker, you know, and I like to do 2 things at one time. And when you get old, you find that you trip, you drop things, you just can't multitask like you once could.
Thanks for the advice.
Yeah, watch out for that, Jamie.
Watch out for that, Jamie.
You got another 10 years.
Here's Lucas Duda. Duda has scored a couple runs today. First pitch is over. It's 0-1. Duda is homered. He's also singled. He walked his first time up. You going to be in town for the next couple of days?
Yes, I am. Yes, we have little golf outing tomorrow and one the organizational alumni golf outing on Tuesday. Looking forward to both of those. You guys will be working tomorrow.
We got a little day baseball here.
I'm going to have my transistor radio on tomorrow.
Up the first base line, and it rolls foul. You're going to find this hard to believe, but I have still a transistor radio.
A lot of people don't know what that is, so you may.
Well, it's a radio that basically is not digital. It's got an antenna. It's small.
Batteries.
I still have one that I've had since I was like 11 or 12 years old. Now that's the new transistor radio.
Thank you.
The phone.
That's the transistor radio of today.
That's exactly right. Kids are putting that under their pillow to listen to games.
Actually, they're watching them on that.
Well, that's it too. Duda is struck out. One out here in the 9th inning.
Giles got a good slider, Jamie. I mean, make a Dude is a quality hitter, right? To make him look that bad on a slider. That goes to where you got that 98 to 100 mile an hour fastball.
Yep, you got to commit.
That looks like a slider or a fastball out of the hand.
Yep.
Whoop, where'd it go?
Yeah, when you can locate, I mean, those last 2 pitches really weren't strikes when they got to the plate, but out of his hand, you know, he saw them as a strike. And he actually, I'm sure he saw it, as you said, Mike, as a fastball.
I think we've said this time and again, but that is the pitch. Everybody heard everything about the fastball at 97, 98, 100. But that slider, I don't think anybody knew was this good that he's throwing this year. There we go, 97 on that fastball. It's 0-2. Henry Mejia looks like he's back to the closer's role here this afternoon for the Mets. Out to right field. That one was put a charge in it. Sizemore has room though. And d'Arnaud's retired, 2 outs. Now give this bullpen credit. You know that Antonio Bastardo gave up the run last night. But this bullpen has continued to pick up the slack during this homestand. There's Matt Dendecker.
They've answered the bell on a consistent basis and have been very, very effective.
Dendecker is 1 for 4.
Now, if you think about it, the last series, the games were, we had a tie. Games were really close.
Right.
This series, they've been behind. And, some people can say, well, they've pitched meaningless innings, but they've kept the game at bay and allowed the Phillies offense to given them opportunities to come back to score to potentially win a game.
1 ball, 1 strike to Dendecker. 1-2. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire the opposition 1-2-3, which Diekman did in the 8th inning. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Now the 1-2 pitch coming. And a line drive base hit to right field. That slider he may have gotten up just a little bit, left it up a little bit, and Dendecker just served it into right. Monday night, get all the highlights from Alumni Weekend, including the Wall of Fame induction ceremony and interviews with Charlie Manuel and Roy Halladay on Phillies Clubhouse, presented by Mercedes-Benz on Comcast Sportsnet.
It's a good running at that here at some point in his at bat. I mean, with two outs and a 1-run lead. I don't know if Dendecker is a runner, but it surely is a good, especially now with 2 strikes on the hitter. I just green light him right now. I don't know if the coach is telling him that over there right now, but take off. You get our hitter out, bail him out of an 0-2 count, or you make it to second base. Single scores you, 2-run lead.
He doesn't go, and the pitch is line foul. That's the kind of foul ball you just want to get away from if you're a fan. That ball was just sizzling out toward that fence.
Yeah, those are the kind you hope stay low and don't get in the stands.
Yeah. Runner goes, pitches high. Nieves' throw to second is in time because he slid past the bag. Rollins stayed with the tag. The putout will go 2-6. It does go down as a caught stealing. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. Take a look, Rollins. He didn't have him initially, but he stayed with them as his foot and fingers came off the base. As it turns out, these two deliveries are the reason the Mets still have the lead. Back-to-back home runs, Duda and then Travis d'Arnaud.
Duda runs into a fastball that was kind of middle away, slightly elevated, and hits it to center field, and d'Arnaud gets a cutter that stays up in the zone and just opens his hips up and lets the ball travel to him and gets the barrel of the bat to it and hits it pretty well in left field.
Well, just missed a home run the last inning off of Giles, the right field. Again, I say it, these Mets, good-looking young hitters.
Well, Henry Mejia did not close last night's ball game because of his calf. Is in there to try to close here today. And he's going to face Cody Ashe, Marlon Byrd, and then Ben Revere. 8-9. 9 is the pinch hitter, and then 1. You wonder if Mejia will feel that calf at all. He said it bothered him before yesterday's ball game. Phillies had a little magic earlier in this homestand against the Astros in their final at bat. Let's see if they have one in them here. I think Torres is warming up in case Mejia falters at all with his calf, or if there's any issues at all, just to make sure somebody is loosening. I'm really just guessing at that more than anything else.
And he also may be trying to get a little bit of work in too.
Ashe is hitless in 3 at-bats. Breaking ball, 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 91 on the last fastball, 96 on that one right there. When he threw the 91-mile-an-hour fastball, I thought there was something wrong with him. Trying to get a base runner here.
Find it interesting how Ryan's going to stack up these hitters in this inning with Byrd on deck, apparently to pinch hit no matter what happens to the first hitter. But then you got Ben Revere.
That is a fair ball over the first base bag. Ashe's going to get to second on this one. The tying run is in scoring position.
That's a cardinal sin to let a double happen in that he was guarding against the double. Duda was at first base, and you can see Terry Collins is coming out right now. Duda thought the ball was foul. I don't know whether the umpire was back, was blocked out by Duda diving for the ball or what, but I don't see how you could possibly get a ball over the first base bag fair.
This is not reviewable. See right
Look
there.
at it.
It looks like it's over the bag. And then
unless you're Cody Ashe.
Wow. Well, that's a great shot right there. But that is not a reviewable play because it hit the ground before it was at the bag, before it was on the outfield grass.
Yeah.
Because they never feel like they can have the right angle on it.
Well, there's no way Duda can let a ball get by him on his left side in that situation. He has to almost, if you have to stand on the line, you can't let a double happen.
Well, here's Marlon Byrd.
I find it
hits.
Yeah, I find it interesting, Jamie and Tom, that we'd spend Marlon Byrd in this situation.
Thought maybe Blanco to bunt him over to third.
Well, yeah, I mean, Marlon's generally a pull hitter. He's a drive the ball guy. I mean, the perfect scenario would be line drive, base hit to right field here. At worst case, ground ball to the opposite side, bunt for a base hit to get the tying run third. All we want to do is tie the game. We don't want to get greedy and try to win the game, right? We'll win the game later on, but we need to tie it before we can win it.
Outside, 1-1.
So, you're kind of putting Marlon Byrd in that situation that he's not the right hitter, in my opinion, for that kind of a play offensively. This is more of a Blanco kind of an at-bat where you're trying to dance the runner and set it up for the 1-2-3 guy. But let's hope it works.
Back to the middle, into center field, a base hit. Here comes Ashe. And the Phils have climbed all the way back. Down 6-1. They've tied it up at 6.
And that's why I would have hit Marlon Byrd in that situation for sure.
Bat on the ball, just a soft base hit up the middle,
right.
Just like they played it out.
But I will also let's give Marlon Byrd some credit.
Tremendous
for cutting his swing down a little bit and saying, I'm going to use the middle of the field.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you. Credit Marlon Byrd for staying up the middle and not rolling over the ball. Actually, he did roll over the foul ball.
Correct. Made an adjustment.
Right.
All right, so now Revere's up. You figure he's going to try to bunt Marlon
Absolutely.
up to second?
100% bunt.
Swearing, bunts it, foul. Ben is a very good bunter.
I would want to make sure Marlon Byrd's legs were loose. I hope he had a chance to do a little something on the treadmill or something between innings, because he's going to be off and running here in a minute.
With Bo in the dugout. Say that, a boy.
And now you say, well, if the runner, if the corner infielder is charging like this, why not? We call it butcher boy, or why not chop the ball? I just don't think you. I think you have to try to make a quality bunt. And you can't risk trying to chop the ball. You might hit it right at somebody. You might pop it up. But we have a little leeway now that the game is tied. It's not the end of the world if we don't execute.
Ben has struck out. He doesn't often strike out. One out with a runner at first.
That ball cut down under his bat.
Right down the middle, though. It wasn't like it was on the corner or down and in where you got to really fight. Actually, sometimes I got to believe that's the toughest pitch to hit because you're probably not looking down the middle.
So now Rollins, who singled his last time up. The ball's one strike. Look at Jimmy shaking his head, nodding his head up and down.
Boy, he's throwing some kind of a cutter fastball with,
I think
kind of the
what
bottom
he's doing,
dropping out of it a little bit.
The ball's coming out of his hand a little differently. He's overloading one side of the ball and throwing a fastball.
There it is.
A line drive to right field. Granderson was playing deep. 2 outs.
Well, guys, we got Chase Utley back to the plate. All we need is a double for the cycle. And if Chase hits for the cycle today, we're going to win.
That's exactly right. Double celebration. He homered his first at bat. Singled in the 6th. Tripled his last time up. There's the homer in the 1st.
Again, a nice short swing. Gets to that ball and drives it quite far. Actually,
his swings will probably all mirror themselves. Oh, I thought we were going to see them all. Sorry.
You know, they pitched him in a lot today. I'm surprised they're trying to get him out in.
Well, you stand close to the plate, you want the ball in, right? Sounds crazy, but
it's true.
Well, you know, when with the game on the line like that, you can see a confident hitter when he says, "I'm just going to stand here and take a pitch." That's a sign of confidence right there. That's a sign of a guy getting ready to hit for the cycle. That could have been the best thing to happen to us. That pitch called a strike right there. I mean, now they think they can get him out.
Taking his time getting ready. Mejia. Outside, 2-1.
Amazing alignment of the Mets outfielders. The center fielder playing shading 10 yards into left center. I just can't believe that gap for a left-handed hitter straight at the MLB Network sounds unbelievable. They must have a chart on Chase that says,
we've seen this every game for the last week in the 9th inning against the Phillies.
Down the left field line. That'll slice out of play.
Houston did the same thing.
Yeah.
And the Mets are doing the same thing.
I think, some hitters you kind of expect it to a certain extent.
And actually,
not Chase.
If I'm not mistaken, for Ryan Howard, the center fielder was even further towards left field.
Well, didn't Houston even what do you call it? Slide over.
Yeah.
On Chase?
Yeah. Yeah, they had all the lefties. They had 3-minute overshifts. Even Revere at times. Two balls, 2 strikes for Chase. The last cycle for the Phils was David Bell. There goes Bird. Pitch is taken outside. The throw to second is wide. The winning run is in scoring position.
Oh, that was a close pitch. Those are the kind of pitches you can take when you're getting ready to hit for the cycle. And that answers the question about Bird's legs being loose.
They took a few pitches, but they're looking loose. Now they're going to just walk Utley intentionally.
Seems like we were in this situation a couple of innings ago.
Yeah. Back to the seventh. The tying run was at third at the time.
The only difference here is it's a right-handed pitcher.
A base hit with 2 outs here. Base hit should give the Phillies a win. 3 infielders on the right side. Murphy's way back in shallow right field as the second baseman. Outside, 1-0.
Damien, back to the shifts question. I'm assuming that David Wright has to play where he is so that he could cover if Bird decides to steal. But personally, I'd have David Wright almost straight up shortstop. I just don't see Ryan Howard hitting a ground ball anywhere near third base.
I was thinking the same thing when I first saw him move to where he is. That's kind of the 5-hole, if you will, or the beginnings of the 5-hole.
Right.
And you're right, I don't see Ryan Howard hitting the ball there.
I see him hitting it possibly where Marlon Bird's
between Marlon, where Marlon is right now, and David Wright in that spot. Yeah, I can visually see that.
Now, if David does go farther out towards shortstop, as you see Ryan Howard winning the game in the 8th inning for the Phillies on Thursday.
He had a pitch to hit that right there. He just fouled off. He fouled off a great pitch to hit right there.
Well, he did that a couple times from that at-bat on Thursday.
You know, that's to me, that's the difference in the quick short downstroke of Chase. That's a heck of a take right there, by the way.
I was saying about Wright, if Wright goes over more towards second, does Bird then take third?
Well, the advantage of Bird being on third is he scores on an infield error. He scores on a wild pitch. I mean, there's a balk. There's a lot. What is it, 5 ways you can score from third?
It might be more than 5.
2-2 to Howard. Winning runs at second base. The Phils have scored a run on a pinch hit single by Marlon Bird here in the 9th inning. These two teams have played 6 extra inning games already this year. Runners will be off. The only guy that matters is the guy at second base. Ballpark's got a little life in it here in the 9th inning. And a line drive down the right field line. Fair ball! The Phillies are going to win it. They've come from all the way back down 6-1. They've won it here in the 9th inning, and the big piece is the hero once again. It's tough to take him down, but they just did, just as he has taken down the Mets. It's a 7-6 victory for the Phillies.
Well, Ryan got a redeeming at-bat for sure, and took it to 3-2, took a couple of close pitches, and he definitely came through. I think he was fooled a little bit on the pitch, but he made contact, and he ended up with one arm on the bat, but hit the ball hard down the right field line. Phillies win the game.
What a celebration.
Ryan Sandberg pulled all the right strings.
Well, Marlon Bird's base hit tied it. Ryan Howard's base hit has won it.
It was some kind of an off-speed pitch. It kind of hung out over the middle of the plate, and he hooked it down the right field line. Game over.
Well, it's become an old hat. We said it the other day. It might be the Ryan Howard show for you, Murph. Take it away.
I'll tell you what, 3 times in 1 week with this big guy, and you just said that was a rough celebration. You went down in that.
Yeah, well, I saw Cody went down, and anytime a situation like that happens, you don't want to be the first one on the ground.
Right, I just said you have a week, and it's been a special week. 3 walk-off wins for you guys. You're involved in all 3 of those. It's just got to be a lot of fun. Baseball should be fun. It looks like you guys are having some fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to win games in that fashion, but it's a lot less stressful if you try to get out earlier. And you got to give credit to the whole team, and we battled back. These guys got out on us early, and we could have quit. Chase had a great day today. Just had big innings. Big innings.
You use the word battle, and that's something that this team has shown a lot of late. What does that say about? You've been on a lot of teams that have battled near the end of ball games. This team seems to be one, certainly later in this season. What does that say about a team?
Oh, I mean, we're on the right track. That's what it means. Is those were the teams of old where we battled 27 outs, and it's always the hardest out to get. But we're on the right track. We keep that up for the rest of the season, it'll be looking pretty good.
It's a hard out for the opposing pitchers to get this week against Ryan Howard, that's for sure. Guys, back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Ryan Howard comes through again for the Phils late in the ball game as they win it 7-6 out front, hooked it down the right field line. I think the only question was fair or foul from our vantage point, but Ryan could tell right from the get-go that ball was going to stay fair. And then the celebration. That's a big body to go down. Marlon Byrd, he tied it up and eventually scored the winning run. He said something to Ryan Howard before that swing from second base. Whatever he said, it may have helped. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.